There was a lot for one night.
And we had the court and all of that with the prince, and then there was the break into a haven and everything else, and all that chasing Darren, and then all that business with the anarchs. And
He did say, we're still alive, so we're doing something right.
we've been broken into once. You've broken into my window and you've broken into my door. Do you understand how this makes me feel?
Just to let you know, though, I might be bringing someone with me.
Because I was given the impression that Deacon Rhodes was someone, there was something bad about him and we shouldn't meet him, and then we went and met him, and that made me nervous. If I'm honest, I think he was a little too helpful. I think he wanted something from us.
I think he's learning.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this, the first chapter of Blood on the Thames, a Vampire the Masquerade Chronicle set in London, England. Now, for everybody that joined us last week, when we also did Chapter 1, the reason why we are naming this one Chapter 1 is because, obviously, we were unable to record that Chapter 1, so for consistency's sake, we are calling this Chapter 1, even though the other one still happens. So there is a catch-up video, if you haven't seen it already, which explains what happened last week. I will also take the time to go over a rough summary for everybody's benefit of what happened on the previous session. So hopefully there'll be minimal people kind of confused about what's going on. Players, especially. So first of all, I'd like to allow everyone a chance to introduce themselves for everyone else's benefit, starting from Carlos.
Hey, I'm Carlos, and I'm playing Moses the Nosferatu.
Hello, I'm Peter, and I'm playing Benjamin the Malkavian.
Hi, I'm Rachel. I'm playing Katya, the Tremere.
Hi, I'm Philip. I'm playing Jim Roy Woods of Clan Gangrel.
Okay. So, we'll go straight into it. Previously, on Blood on the Thames, the newly formed coterie, before they were officially recognised as a coterie, managed to put themselves finally into an audience with Prince Emrys of London, the prince who has reigned over London for as long as anybody can remember, as well as meeting Constable Jacqueline. Silent, but very much present in the meeting. You all introduced yourselves, you made him aware of who your sires were, and by and large, he seemed satisfied with your answers. He tested you on your knowledge of the various traditions, made sure you were aware of what happens should you not know them and not uphold them. And it was also mentioned by one or two that you had been in the city for a strange amount of time before being introduced to the prince, which, whilst he gave no outward outburst about, it's become clear over time that the prince is not very forgiving, as was the case in Katya's sire, whose right arm was fully burned. The reasons behind this, known only to Katya. After this time, and a week later, the coterie, who had just been given domain by the prince and formally acknowledged within the city, were summoned to their first court in order to be produced before the entire kindred of London, so that everybody could see their faces. Everybody was then aware that among their 80 or so number, there were 4 additional kindred. As well as this, it was also announced by the prince that the thin blood population, which has happened as a result of the whole Gehenna scare of the turn of the century, is being dealt with. And the thin bloods are being culled and removed as a problem. On top of this, the number of kindred which have come to London seeking refuge have been evicted, forcibly or otherwise. And everybody that is now a recognised member of London is expected to participate in the Lex Talionis, in the hunting of any remaining thin bloods, and in particular Tyler Adams, a Ventru neonate who has unwisely decided to try and give sanctuary to thin bloods that were being hunted. It is now the onus of every kindred in London to hunt these individuals should they have the opportunity. After this court, the coterie were introduced to the various members of the Primogen. They took note of the fact that whilst the Primogen was in full attendance, there was no Tremere or Bruja members on the Primogen. After going their own ways, returning to their haven, which will be described to you in due order, the Kine who resides there, the human who looks after the property, Miss Morovsky, was found unconscious and bludgeoned upon their return. To give some background, this haven was a particular building, a bed and breakfast that was purchased by the coterie prior to their moving in, but the troublesome tenant of Darren Fitcher, who resided there beforehand, returned and bludgeoned the old lady when she attempted to call the police. Suitably angered, the coterie then began hunting for Darren, managing to track him and his companions down at the local McDonald's, and from there followed him back to his own flat, where, despite how close they came to an altercation with him, they instead chose to simply leave a note there, using substances that they discovered in his room, making it clear that they were well aware of what had happened, and then they left. Towards the later part of this evening, the kindred were drawn into a meeting with another kindred, one who had left a burner phone in order to get their attention and summon them across London. This individual, Deacon Rhodes, was forewarned to the coterie as the prominent figure in the Anarch movement. Despite this, they went and spoke with him at length. He made it clear to them he didn't expect anything of them, but he was there to give aid if they needed to. There was mixed feelings on this, and eventually the coterie left and returned to their haven before the break of dawn. And that is where we left off. This chapter, this new chapter 1, begins with the coterie having woken, and whilst Katya is away, seeing to Mrs. Morovsky, I believe, the other kindred who have all woken or done their rouse checks have been discussing to a confused and disheveled Benjamin about what has been occurring. If you'd all like to take this opportunity, those three which are currently in this room with Benjamin, and describe your characters as they currently are.
Oh, currently. That's okay. So Moses is he's very scrawny looking. His skin is like leathery and grayish, very taut, like very, tight around his arms. He looks more like bone and sinew. Long arms and legs. He looks lanky and usually walks, bent over, like not wanting to show his face. He has a very angular face, features a very pointy jaw. His mouth is filled with sharp teeth, all of them. It looks like a mouthful of fangs, too many for that such a small mouth. And his eyes are massive. I mean, when I say massive, it's like twice the size of a normal, like they really stand out. His face is of course very deformed. He looks like he has bag under his eyes most of the time, so it's like this raccoonish sort of appearance. He's wearing a sleep beanie because it's the one he uses, and right now he could not find matching pieces of pajamas.
So he is currently wearing white sort of pajama bottoms and top, and quite smart blue socks and a blue toweling dressing gown. And he looks a little bit distressed.
Arthur Dent?
Yeah. He's channeling.
Whereas these two are clearly in night clothes, Jim's fully dressed, jeans, long sleeve t-shirt, and a warm sort of pullover. Is quite young looking, maybe early 20s. Still fairly the youthful look. Short dark hair. And that's about him.
Okay. So whilst you were having this discussion, you managed to get Katya on the phone. She joined in, promised to have a discussion with you all about the importance of privacy within one's own room in the Haven. But this conversation, shortly after it finished and events were gone over for clarity's sake, all the conversation came to an end when, quite prominently throughout the building, you were heard it's not coming from the front door, but it is coming from your room.
The door to my room.
The door to your room.
Well, in that case, I will. I'll get up. Are you guys doing anything dramatic? Because I'm not doing anything dramatic.
I'm not there. like I'm already behind like some of the boxes he has for me is moving. Maybe behind like one of the like the rug he has on that. And just go in there and just obfuscate, like not moving.
Yeah, Jim is more settled into a more of a ready position just in case.
I'll approach the door and say, I won't open it yet, but I'll say hello.
Hello?
Um,
What comes towards you sounds to be the voice of a young female voice. Early 20s, late teens. It's hard to kind of, especially through the door.
Young, like
Yeah.
it's distinctive.
It's
that
a distinctive
young.
female young voice.
can I help you?
Yes, I want a room. There's no one at the desk.
Oh, right. Right. Well, yes. Well, I'm not actually the proprietor of.
No, there's no one here at all. I've looked. There's no one here. I assume that since you're the only person here, you know where they've gone. Can we open the door at least?
Just give me a moment. Right, I'll do a flash of life.
Footsteps going further down the hall.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm getting hungry.
For those joining us that haven't played V5 before, they've previous editions of Vampire the Masquerade used to track a kind of pool of blood, which helped people discern how hungry their vampire is. Sorry. Now it's tracked via a scale of 0 to 5 on a hunger rating, and each point of hunger translates into a hunger die, which is added to any rolls they make. And it can provide some hunger-related interesting results depending on what's rolled. And now, since he's failed the check, he's gone up. He's a bit more hungry.
All right, I'll open the door.
Okay. You open the door and you can't see anybody directly on the other side of it, but peering down the corridor, you can see what looks to be a girl, late teens, and from behind you can see that she's got dirty blonde hair, quite long. She's dressed in what looks to be biking, some sort of bike jacket, kind of worn trousers underneath, and she stops and glances around. You can see a bespectacled face, and she looks very tiny compared to the clothes that she's wearing. But in her hand, she also has a biking helmet, and she stops and looks around and sees you.
Hello. Yes. So, as I say, I'm not the proprietor here, and unfortunately, she is currently. She had an accident, so that's why she's not here. I'm very sorry. I thought the door downstairs would have been locked.
No, it was wide open.
Oh dear. Oh, I'm sorry about that. That must have been. Sorry. Who are you?
Abigail Bennings. You don't work here?
No. I mean, I have a room here, obviously, but I'm not.
Do you know
an
if they're
employee.
still accepting, or is this just? I mean, you want to lock the door.
I mean, no. I.
You're beginning to follow Abigail Bennings.
Yes.
Down the corridor, back downstairs. The building itself, given that you weren't intending on leasing it out, has not really been seen to since Darren Fitcher and his companions came in. So the place itself seems to be in disarray, but she doesn't seem too disturbed by it. If anything, she just seems to be happy to get out of the wet. And now that you're downstairs, even though the door itself is shut, the lock's not on, and you can tell from the lock on the inside has been moved. You can see outside beyond the window that there is still pouring rain.
Do I remember us locking the door, or is it all a bit of a blur?
You did lock the door.
Okay.
But Katya did leave with Jim.
All right. So I'll is there? I know there's her chair in the lobby, but is there any other places?
There's a few other chairs. And in fact, now is actually an ideal time for you guys to launch into, to give you guys a bit of context, because obviously you missed, some of you would have missed last week. If you guys want to just do a quick description of the Haven and the domain, just to give people an idea.
Okay, so the
basement. I start with the basement.
Okay.
Cool. Okay.
We haven't even been in the basement yet.
Should we just do the bit that we're in?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm really
That was
sorry.
so cute.
I know. Look, the basement is really exciting, and it'd be great when you get there. But
Yes, please.
so the crossed hands is basically a Georgian building, which has been turned into a B&B, that has lived a life. It's been out there. And whilst when it started its life, it was a beautifully laid out and created building and decorated and everything else, it is now not so much. Time has been hard. And Mrs. Murawski, unfortunately, can't get up much beyond the one set of steps, so therefore most of the building has not been maintained properly for some time. Anything you want me to add? In terms of the lobby and the...
So the lobby is in better condition than the rest of the building, because obviously it's one bit that she can reach. It's got kind of suitably polished kind of black and white floor tiles, faded wallpaper, some very tarnished brass kind of light fittings on the walls, and I guess a few of not so much on this floor, but on other floors a lot of furnishings have kind of dust sheets draped over them.
I think, does she have a... She has a chair, I think. Is it a rocking chair?
Yeah, she's got a chair in that she sits in when she's manning the front desk, as it were.
Yeah, which now is sadly empty.
It's also worth noting that still left over from previously there, around the back of the counter, is the blood stain from where she was struck, and the shattered remains of the vase, which she took down with her when she was struck.
And a mop that none of these guys have used, left against
and
the
a
wall.
mop that nobody has used.
Are there any chairs that are somewhere removed from where the bloodstains are in the lobby, which I could direct Abigail to?
Yeah, there's dotted here and there, there's singular chairs.
Okay. The chair furthest from the scene of the crime, I will say, why don't you take a seat here? And
she moves over, she starts ruffling her hair to try and get the wet out, and goes and sits down, takes her glasses off and begins cleaning them as best she can on the shirt underneath the biker jacket, and just goes on it and just glances around.
I don't know how long it's going to be, but I'll see if I can get in touch with someone and get something sorted out.
Okay.
Right.
You don't mind if I just sit here for a bit?
No. You just sit there for a bit, and then someone with some authority will come back, and this will all be sorted out, I'm sure.
Okay. No, well, as long as I can stay inside and just...
Yes, if you could just stay right there, that would be fabulous.
Okay.
All right, lovely. Bye. So
I didn't get your name.
Oh, Benjamin.
Okay.
I'm going to calmly-ish walk out of sight. Then
you run back down towards the door in the corridor leading back towards your room. Still partially open from when you went out. Moses, you can hear the rapid footsteps approaching down this echoing corridor as Benjamin turns the corner and enters, and Jim, you can see him as well.
But the door's been left unlocked. The door was open. Did you leave the door unlocked behind you?
I locked it behind me. You really think I'm that stupid?
You also came in through the window.
Yeah.
Look, I'm not saying you're stupid. I'm just saying that there is now a young lady in there who just walked in because the door was open. She doesn't seem to have noticed the bloodstains yet, or if she has, she's very calm about it. And she wants a room to stay in, and I don't know what to do with her. So I've got her sitting in the lobby. I don't think she's noticed the blood, but any ideas? Gratefully received. I'm thinking maybe we should call Katia. Do you think? Fine, I'll call Katia, shall I? Right, good. Where's Moses gone? Oh well, I
How he has, isn't it?
You need to check something for that.
You look like going, Moses?
It's like
As you guys are having this discussion, Moses, wearing the bland face of the individual that you might have seen once or twice before, steps downstairs, and you see the girls just still stacked.
Actually, I go out the window.
Okay.
I leave my Darth Vader cushion.
Okay.
I don't want it to get wet.
Okay, so you come in with your pajamas.
Yeah. Do they change?
I don't believe so.
No! Yeah, I walk from the inside.
Okay, so you come in from the inside.
Yeah.
You come downstairs, and she's still kind of roughing her hair out. She glances up at you as you come down. She seems almost on the verge of saying something, and then notes the dress with which you've come down and just says nothing, just kind of...
Evening? Just moved. Couldn't find matching. Never mind. Sorry.
And she kind of like undoes the jacket and opens it, and you can see that she's got some sort of pink floral pattern on it that looks like it could double as a nightdress.
Okay. So, yeah.
Does it back up.
I'm sorry. Where are my manners? Jonah. Who are you?
Abigail. I'm just looking for a room, but apparently, despite the fact that the front door was open, there's no one. The place is shut. But you guys are here, so.
Well, yeah. I had to stay last night because doesn't matter. Where's Mrs. Moravsky? Is she back from the hospital?
The hospital? What? The lady that runs here?
Yeah, she had an accident.
So is no one running this?
Well,
I mean, you guys are staying here, so someone has to be.
well, someone's running the place, and I've been helping her out. That's why she let me stay here the night. So don't worry about it. Let me check the ledger, and I just go there, like, rustle my hair, whatever hair she sees, and try to get, the ledger, see like any available rooms or vacants or whatever, however she keeps it.
Okay.
So what do I see?
There is one of the rooms downstairs that's available. One of the ones that Darren left was unavailable until she had a chance to clean it, and it's still not been able to be cleaned. There's Mrs. Moravsky's room herself, and then the alternative room.
So, but is that the one that got saved? The one that was not trashed? Because
The one that wasn't trashed. Darren, when he was here, was using one of the rooms downstairs. That was his official room, and he was making full and unhindered use of the other rooms upstairs, which
Okay.
Mrs. Moravsky couldn't stop him from doing because
She couldn't follow, yeah. Apparently, there is one available room. Well, I don't know how much she charges. I'll look for other similar charges and try to discuss. But like, I'm not gonna like. Apparently, there's one available room.
Is it smaller than your room? Do you
Sorry?
know? Do you know if it's smaller than your room?
I'll have to go and check. You want to go check?
I've got nothing else to do.
Okay, cool. You just walk there to the room.
Yeah, she gets up and follows you down the corridor, and you can see the first room, which is Mrs. Moravsky's, and then the two other ones. One of which is to be Darren's room from the CCTV footage of when Mrs. Moravsky was going back and forth, and then the other one, which when it opens out, it's comparable to what your room is. It's not as amazingly well furnished as most B&Bs probably were, but then again, the place wasn't making that much money.
Okay. According to the rates, I tell her what price has she been renting it to.
So if I was to put some money down now, that'd be cool, or do I have to wait? I'm just thinking because it's late now. I'm tired.
Yeah. How long are you thinking on staying?
I don't know, a couple of nights, maybe.
Okay.
One night at least.
Okay. I hate to say this. You don't look 25. Challenge 25 and all.
I'm not buying alcohol.
I know, but if you're underage, I don't want to be the guy renting the room to an underage without her guardian.
That's not against the law. And what's to say I'm not over 18? Then I don't need a guardian.
Are you over 18?
Yeah.
Can I see some ID? Also, I'll need it to add you to the record. So come here.
You don't work here.
Sorry?
I thought you said you don't work here.
No, but I'll add your name to the
I'm not
ledger.
going to give my
for,
ID to a guy I don't know.
Then I'm not going to give you a room. I'm sorry.
You can't give me a room anyway. You don't work here.
Exactly. But I am living here at the time. See, Mrs. Moravsky and I have a special arrangement. You see those security cameras? I installed them.
Oh, that did a fat lot of good if she's in the hospital.
Well, that's what allowed us to know that she had an accident and we needed to send an ambulance. So probably saved her life.
Right. Okay, so she's not likely to be back then if she was...
It wasn't massive, but it looked... You know when it looks awful? Like a nasty cut in your hand that bleeds for ages?
Sure.
Okay, well, that's what happens, but she's 70. So, she was taken to the hospital, probably going to be sent back at some point.
So you continue to have this discussion with Abigail, and then back in the room, as you frantically pull out your old mobile
Yeah.
to contact Katia, you dial, and Katya, in the middle of the hospital as you're making your way out. You've seen Mrs. Morovsky. She's awake. She's very groggy. She's showing more of her age now than you've noticed at any point up until now. But what little conversation you've had with her, she's just seems to want to get out of the hospital bed. Obviously, she's not been allowed to. She's suffered head trauma, but she's Mrs. Morovsky. And as you begin heading out, just as you're going out of the doors, your phone begins vibrating.
Hello?
Katya?
Yes? Hello, Ben.
Yeah, hello. We've got a slight situation.
So, pretty much what you assured me wouldn't happen.
What the thing is that for some reason the door wasn't locked, and a young girl has come asking to have a room, but of course we don't have a room. I've got her sitting in the lobby, and I don't think she's noticed the blood yet. But I'd really like it if you could come home now.
Right, okay, Right, I've got a pit stop to make on the way, but I'll be as direct as I can. Considering that whole conversation we had about locking up rooms and general etiquette...
none of us have been downstairs since last night. I don't understand. Did you lock the door?
I locked the door as far as I wouldn't leave it open.
Well, Jim says he locked the door, and none of the rest of us have been down. So that doesn't... I mean, unless she forced the lock somehow.
Right,
I don't know. I don't really want to go and deal with her, though. Could you deal with her?
I can deal with her. Did you deal with the bloodstains?
No. I mean,
well,
the door was locked. We didn't think we had to deal with it, and we had anarchs and other things to deal with.
Not at that particular time.
You want me to go and mop the blood up?
I mean, I did, but it sounds a bit late now. I'll be home soon.
I'll hang up.
Katya, after you hang up your phone, standing outside of the hospital, you're suddenly subject to the considerable downpour, which is a substantial change from the previous night where it was somewhat clear for a London night. Drenched as you are, where are you going?
I was going to meet with Will. I will probably have texted her in the hospital, arranging somewhere to meet up. She drives, so we'd probably go by her car and then go back to the Crossed Hands.
Okay, so within your domain you're going to meet her, or you're going to go?
Within the domain, I imagine.
Okay. You move off somewhat more familiar now with your... somewhat more familiar with your domain now than you were previously. And you begin moving off through the rain, noting the numerous people that are moving back and forth down the streets. It's more active now than it was in previous nights. Lots of people going out, not necessarily clubbing, but going out drinking, at least in some of the bars, some of the establishments. And you stop on a particular corner knowing that Will is not far away, based on her response when you texted her. She was driving and already en route to your haven. It doesn't take too long. It takes maybe another 5-10 minutes until she pulls up. I will jump back to that in a moment. What are you two doing first?
As he hangs up, Jim's going to turn and go, no idea if Darren's going to make an entrance or not, because he may decide to come back.
I thought you dealt with Darren.
Well, I left him a warning, but it'll be either he takes it or he comes back. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to the roof and I'm going to keep an eye out for him.
Right, all right, yes.
In order to get him deal with the situation, let them know where I am.
Yes, I'll let them know you're on the roof watching for
keep
Darren.
An eye out, right.
No problems. Right. Okay, fine. Yes.
Yeah. And I'll go make way to the roof.
I'm going to get dressed, because there are some things you can't deal with in a bathrobe.
I kind of concur with that.
Yeah.
Okay, so you get changed somewhat hastily, somewhat frantically in your usual Benjamin way, flustered as you are, and then you make your way downstairs. And you come down. You turn the corner just into the lobby, just around the same time that these two are having their energetic discussion about the room. She's returned to her seat and has taken a seat exactly where you put it before, and is just waiting, just sat there, just.
Okay. So I just was like, you know what? I'm going back to check on the equipment. Whenever Mrs. Milovsky or her assistant or whomever comes, let me know.
I'm gonna walk with him a little bit so that we're not in obvious earshot of Abigail.
Oh no, I'm going down to the basement. Yeah.
Okay, well I'll follow him so that we're out of her earshot, and then I will say, Jim wanted you to know that he's on the roof, looking out in case Darren comes back.
Oh, brilliant. Does he have an umbrella?
He doesn't seem like an umbrella sort of gentleman to me, but I mean, perhaps he does, hidden away somewhere.
Maybe a poncho.
Yes, I think he's probably got a poncho. Definitely.
I'm sitting down in the computer.
Okay.
I'm gonna check the footage to see what happened to the door. Everybody has been locking it.
Okay.
I want to see if she tried to pick it.
Okay. How thorough a check are you doing? You just going by it,
I'm
watching through it?
I am going to be
And how far
thorough
back?
since Jim came back, which was maybe half an hour ago.
Okay.
So I'm going through like normal, not going at super full speed, because I assume at any point, like from when Jim returned to see if he locked the door until Abigail came in, everything else before and after is, useless to check.
So you scan back about you start about half an hour previously. Jim doesn't come in through the front door, being Jim. He's come in through, you're assuming, one of the windows that got damaged previously.
Okay.
You
Did
speed
Katya
through
lock
it. Sorry?
Did Katya? I just
She
look
locked
for
it
the back. Oh,
when she went out.
So it's lock here,
Yeah.
and then
when Katya went out and before you guys turned in, she left, locked it from outside, and you guys put the latch on.
okay. Okay, so it's latched. Okay.
Yeah. And you sit and begin pouring through this. What are you doing at this time? I know you're up on the roof.
Well, I guess from where Abigail is sitting, can she see where the mess is?
Not where you've sat her.
Good. So I'm going to be super awkward. You know that kind of classic British situation where, like, I'm kind of mopping up, she's waiting, and occasionally you glance over and you give that kind of awkward smile, and that's going to be.
She's just kind of
Over her tea.
giving you a kind of
We think you know.
polite but
Yeah.
non-committal smirk.
Yeah, that's yeah.
I mean, as well-spoken as she seems, what little she says, she's still very much a teenager. It's the way she sat, the way she's just kind of glancing around with feigned patience. But otherwise, you're free to mop. She doesn't seem to notice, or if she does, she doesn't say anything. Jim, up on the roof, you can see just the abundance of people moving back and forth there. From how high you are on a 5-story building, it's hard to pick out anyone of note. There's no one in particular that draws your eye. Everybody's going to or fro.
Yeah, I'm going to be putting up the small set of binoculars that will help a little bit.
Okay. Yeah, you begin looking through people. No one seems to be taking any particular interest of the crossed hands. They all seem to be moving their own ways. The only people that really draw your attention that you think might be speaking are a couple that just are committing to themselves over in a corner. Another person that's fiddling with the keys to a building opposite. But you remain vigilant. You keep an eye out, moving from street to street, just watching. Katya, it takes a good 5 to 10 minutes before Will shows up. Driving in a car, and she stops alongside. Will, for the benefit of anybody that hasn't yet seen Rachel's Incredible Art.
I haven't put that one up yet.
Okay.
Well, there was an old one, but then I did more.
Will is a young woman in her 20s with reddish-brown hair, which is currently kind of braided along the side. Pale blue eyes, pale skin. This ghoul, who is currently heavily clothed in a jumper and a coat, just stops and smiles at you, and there's an instant kind of familiarity and a kind of innate joy that when she sees you, and she stops and reaches over and opens up the door, allowing you to get in out of the rain.
Yeah, so I'm kind of like trying to brush my coat off a little bit.
I hope you weren't waiting long.
No, it wasn't that long. It's fine. I mean, I wear this coat for a reason. Keeps the worst of it off. How are you doing?
No, I'm okay. I'm sorry I couldn't get down sooner. I've got all your all the stuff. It's in a bit
Stuff
what
was
I
the
could.
best word for it, really.
Well, there was a lot there. But I've got as much as I can out
That's
of the
fine.
room. I can go back and get more if you need anything particular.
Nah, it's fine. They probably won't appreciate the coming and going, even if it isn't me. But we'll get this stuff set up for now. It's good to see you. It's been a while.
No, definitely. I mean, I understand. Obviously, you've got stuff to do, and you can't come back to the Chantry yet. But it is good to see you. And if you need me to stay over the domain, I can. Otherwise, I can stay in the Chantry, or just. I don't.
I'm sure it wouldn't hurt if you want to stay tonight. I mean, it's already like, well, pretty late. I wouldn't want to make you drive all the way back.
Well, I mean, if there's anything you need me to do this morning, I can.
All right. Well, I'll let you know if anything comes to mind. But I reckon for now we should probably just, set up what we got, and go from there. I mean, I'm not totally sure how it's all going to fit in quite yet, but I'm sure we'll make the most efficient use of the space as we can.
Okay. At this point, she's pulled away from the pavement and has begun driving off. She seems to be moving with a familiarity that suggests she knows where she's going. It's not too far from the domain, but she's taking a somewhat direct route down towards the crosshands. It doesn't take you long to get back. She pulls up opposite Jim. You notice the car pulling in, and that draws your attention as you notice Katia getting out of the car with the reddish-brown-haired woman opposite her. They both make a quick dash from the rain straight towards the front door. And when you step inside, you draw the attention of the teenage girl who glances up.
Good evening.
Sits forwards. Are you, No.
Hi. Yeah. Sorry. I heard about what happened. I'm also staying here at the moment. Kind of semi-permanent basis. I trust you. They told you what happened to Mrs. Morovsky, the landlady.
Well, they said she was in hospital. They didn't say why.
I've just been to check on her. She's fine. She just took a bit of a fall. When at that age the scalp is very, very thin, so there can be a lot of bleeding if you hit it in the right place. And it can be very dangerous. So I wanted to go make sure she was right. Because we want to know when she's going to be back. Because those of us who are currently staying here, we don't know much about running a B&B. But
everyone seems pretty friendly. If you've heard, I'm waiting for a room.
Yeah, well, we keep in contact, especially after this happened. We wanted to make sure we could contact each other.
It doesn't seem. What, from her falling over?
Well, yes. If there's no landlady looking after the place, it kind of falls to us, really. I mean, I promised Miss Morovsky that we'd look after it for her. She's been very kind to us.
So you can check me in.
I mean, potentially. Are you? I understand you need a place to stay. Is everything all right? Because I know there are a few youth hostels in the area. I'm not prying or anything. I just want to make sure everything's all right.
Well, I was told that this place would be more affordable than some of the other ones. But based upon the fact that I couldn't see anybody else here, I can kind of get why. But I mean, if this, I'm limited on where I can afford to go.
That makes sense. As I'm looking at her, is it clear she's definitely mortal?
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely mortal.
Cool. Yeah, that's fine. But of course, if there is any problems, any kind of issues, if it can help with anything, I know some people and stuff, but sure. I mean, even if we can't officially check you into a room, if you need a place to stay and you've got the ability to pay at some point, I'm sure that'll be fine.
I've got cash, if that's what you need.
Sure, of course, I'm sure that'll be all right. Right, Benjamin?
Oh yes. Why not? So do we know how much it would cost a night for a regular?
I mean, comparable to what most B&Bs charge, Mrs. Morovsky had it pretty damn low just to try and get someone in.
I'm figuring when we first came here, we looked at the rates and stuff. So
yeah. To be honest, given how much she was charging, the place is probably losing money more than it should. But there was no other way to get people in. There was often times where the 2 rooms that she did have access to weren't filled.
So I'm sure she wouldn't want the room to be idle. That's the thing.
Well, it's there. Might as well use it.
Yes, if you've got some cash, then why don't we just check you in?
Okay. So she gets up and begins reaching into the pocket, and then she pulls out 2 20s. Is that enough for a night or 2?
I would probably tell her what the standard rate is.
Okay.
To be fairly honest. If it is slightly less than that, I'd give a change.
Okay.
If I can.
Well, she hands it over. It's enough for a night at least.
Cool. Obviously, we can't access the cash register, but if we would be changed, then I'd say we'd get it to her when we can.
Okay.
I'll write her name into the ledger, just so there's a record and the date and
Okay. She just watches this and her hands in her pockets and just kind of observes the two of you, and then glances towards the mob, glances back towards the way that you went, and then it's just, can I just go in, or do I have to?
Yeah, I don't see why not.
Do you have a key?
Yeah, I was thinking.
I assume that we would have found the key on where it was hanging out behind the
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, give her a key.
Yep. She takes the key and then just kind of moves over to the side. The door down the corridor, opens it, and steps inside. Has a quick glance around and then steps back out. I'm gonna just go and double check my bike. You're not gonna lock the door behind me, or?
No,
no, that's fine.
Yeah.
Okay. And then she steps out without her bike helmet and just steps back out into the rain.
I'd probably check with Will that her car was somewhere, like, that was an actual parking space and somewhere, like, secure-ish.
Yeah, Will's parked out, and at this present moment, she just kind of stood beside the door, just kind of observing, with a bit more energy and kind of enthusiasm than the teenager was. Her eye line is drawn towards the area where you've been mopping.
Is the girl's kind of gone check on her bike?
Yeah, she's gone.
Right. Yes, I suppose some introductions are in order. Benjamin, this is Will. Will, this is Benjamin.
Hello.
Hi. So this is Benjamin Green?
Yes, yeah, that's
Yes,
the
that's
one.
right. Oh, you've heard of me.
From Katia, yes.
Oh, yes, of course. Sorry, yes, of course.
Yes, she knows you're an artist.
Oh,
I'd be interested in seeing some pieces, actually, if you... Well, not now, but...
we've only just moved in, but yes, absolutely, yes.
I mean, any friend of Katia's is... I've got some stuff, actually, to bring in,
Yeah,
so
we
if
should
you
take that
don't
upstairs.
need me, I can go and bring that in.
Do you want a hand? I feel like I should talk to this new tenant. But... yeah, if you get started, I promise I'll catch up, okay? Give you a hand.
And then she steps out. Can I get from you
Yes.
a wits plus awareness? No, wits plus insight.
Wits plus insight, you say?
No, I do.
It's a big roll.
Sounds like a lot of dice, red ones.
There's a couple of reds.
There's 3 successes.
Okay. Pass that. Pass that.
No.
A note!
First note
I'm
from
sure
the
it's...
F2.
I have material for further notes, if you will.
Okay.
Oh.
So she steps out of the doorway and begins moving off back out into the rain. It doesn't take too long before the young lady reappears, the teenage Abigail, and she pauses. I don't mean to be a pain. You're dressed. Would you mind just walking me to my bike? There's some people around it, and I don't really want to go there on my own.
Oh, well, that seems reasonable, yes.
She comes as well.
Well, it's very bad weather, if you're sure. But
I mean,
Are there any umbrellas in the foyer?
Actually, I'll get an umbrella.
Given that you're there, and Benjamin's there, I can imagine.
I sew in an umbrella, come on.
Okay.
Can I see what her as she left to go check her bike?
Yeah, when she left to check her bike, she went across the street and started going down further that way, and she got about halfway down, paused, and then came back.
So is there a point at which I can very quickly speak to Katia where I think Abigail won't hear us, or do I think it's too risky? Do I think it's likely she might?
Well, she stood in the lobby. I mean, you can move off somewhere, but it won't.
No,
be
that's fine.
subtle.
I'll just get an umbrella and head out.
Okay.
Make sure that Katia doesn't get wet.
Okay. So what are you're still on the roof,
Old
or are you
roof.
coming back down?
I'm still on the roof at the moment. Just keep an eye out.
Okay. So, what are you two doing? You're still downstairs watching the footage. Okay. What are you doing?
I'm going with Benjamin.
Yeah, the 2 really badass vampires going outside into the potential danger.
Okay.
You know what you said about having high intimidate?
I did.
Yeah.
As this is all going on, and Will is currently busying herself with the car, which parked again the street over, but some way down in a well-lit area. She's just basically rummaging around the boot, and she walks past. Her eyes drawn as Katia begins moving off, and she seems almost torn
Be
between.
back soon. Like I promise, this
and
won't
then
take long.
just nods and then continues back over towards the B&B. At this point, you manage to get all the way back towards the point in the footage where the door opens. You pause, rewind it, double check again, The door is just open slightly.
Yeah.
What happens to the chain thingy?
Okay, you go back, rewind it again, zoom in, and you just see the bolt.
Zoom in and Hans. That doesn't work like that.
Again?
The bolt, which is nestled in, just...
Ave Maria Purísima. Ay, Dios. And I just run upstairs.
Okay. You all hear the... And then the door of Moses stepping back in. To the lobby.
No one because they left, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're outside and you're on the roof.
Ay, por Dios. I just run up the stairs all the way to the roof.
You run all the way up, and just as you are currently watching through your binoculars, Katia moving off under an umbrella with Benjamin and the teenage girl walking alongside. She's got she pulled her collar up just to try and shield herself against the rain. She doesn't seem party to the umbrella. It's not big enough for her anyway. And then all of a sudden you're as the door opens and Moses just emerges out on the roof.
What the hell? Something opened the door.
Something
Yes.
with
You gotta see it. You gotta see it.
and
Es la pelona. La muerte. The death opened the door.
Jim's confused. I said Jim can't roll insight on this.
Okay. Yep. Well, yeah, we'll
Do
say...
you so mind?
Yeah, wits plus insight.
I'm clearly freaked out.
Yeah, Jim is basically looking just to
Okay.
be absolutely sure
Or so,
with 2 successes.
okay, yeah, 2. So it's easy enough to see Moses is freaked out. He's not been freaked out like this in your company before, but he seems quite... I mean, the fact he's slipping into Spanish is kind of a hint that he's unnerved by something. You don't speak Spanish yourself, but it's quite clear that, like Lassie, he wants you to come with him to investigate the well.
Don Lassie.
What are you doing?
I just start walking downstairs.
Can this not wait till a bit later? When everyone can be there?
The mumbling that you can hear from downstairs makes it clear that no.
I'm in my room. And I
As-
just go downstairs,
Okay,
look for a rosary,
okay,
hang it on the wall.
okay. You managed to find one. I mean, this is...
I have a rosary. Like,
Yeah.
I never wear it, but it's part of my upbringing. I have a rosary. I
Okay.
just, like, thanks, Mom. Ay, Dios, protégenos.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Jim just takes one
And I just
around to see if he can see
look-
anything.
Watch that.
Yeah, one last look around, see if he can see anything, then fuck after him.
Okay, you head back inside,
You lost
shut the door behind you, head downstairs, and you can see, or rather you can hear the muffled mumblings of Moses from within his room.
What is it?
Look at the video.
Uh,
Look at the video.
Okay. He scans back on the video, fast forwarding it now to the point where you know there's activity in the door, which is previously shut. You see the bolt.
Look, nothing on the inside, nothing on the outside, no one on the cameras. 2 things could have happened. 1, a vampire with a lot of shadow powers that is not registered on electronic devices, which would be weird. Because trust me, this face shows. So it has to be like a really, really powerful one. And he might want to kill us. Or, most likely, un aparecido. That's a ghost. I just have probably like 5 videos of the chupacabras and El Fantasma de Santa Grita or something like that, like in Colombia and Guatemala. Like a lot of paranormal activity. And the footage I have is more believable than any of those. And those are real. I'm not superstitious because that's bad luck, but those are real.
As you're kind of observing this and listening to the erratic rumblings of Moses, you two are currently getting drenched even with the aid of the umbrella, the angle with which the rain's coming in, you're still getting at least part of you can feel your socks getting wet in that really uncomfortable way that they tend to with this squelching. And
this is intolerable.
Now you have wet socks. Very fashionable, wet blue socks.
yes, in that.
My socks.
That's the worst feeling ever.
She leads you further down towards past Denmark Hill up towards Denmark Road, and there's an area of
past Denmark Hill, Denmark Hill Road.
Yeah, down to Denmark.
You're getting out of the domain.
And then
why'd you park so far away if you knew where we were?
I didn't know where you were. I was asking people.
I see. Okay.
And as you turn the corner, you can see there's a Vespa scooter, which is just there on its own. There's a few cards kind of around the place, and she just moves over towards the bike, checks the key in it to make sure it's good, make sure it stands up, and then starts walking back towards you. And then she stops, and then darts, and then you can hear from behind you, "Fuck. You fucked up. You really fucked up." And as you turn around, you can see Darren Fitcher with 3 others moving towards you, hunched shoulders, and you can see in Darren's hand is what looks to be the crowbar, the recognisable crowbar, and another one of the individuals is stood there with his hands in his pockets and his hood's up, and the third one is currently just looking around to make sure no one's there. But Darren's just stepping up and he's eyeballing you. "You think you can come into my fucking house? You think you can fucking threaten me? I don't know which one of you little fucking shits think you can do that. It ain't happening. You fucked up. Now, what I require...
Should I roll my rouse check for my Mask of 1,000 Faces from...
You missed that.
Yeah.
You should have stayed on the roof.
Dude, you should have stayed.
I'm gonna get hungry.
God
No,
damn.
this is not good. This is not good.
Okay.
Hunger too.
Bear with me while I try and find...
Our best chance.
while I try and
cheat.
find
Talking
the
them out.
combat summary. I do apologise, guys, if this takes me a bit of back and forth
we
in the
don't,
book.
we don't know it's going to turn into combat yet.
Yeah, this could.
I didn't say it was physical combat.
No.
Social
do
combat.
It's not
Conflicts
gonna,
is
it's
the
not gonna be. It's not gonna be much of combat if you fall with after the first 2 blows. It's like
Yeah, we're still very used to V20 and similar earlier systems, so we're just getting used to V5. Hence the reason why I'm relying so heavily on the book.
Also, am I still on 3 hunger?
Yeah.
Ah, yes.
Yay.
You're in 3 hunger.
Yay.
He's in 2. I'm in 2.
That was a sarcastic yay.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, I think we need to have a discussion about how hunger works in this game.
I'm on hunger 1.
It doesn't start at 5.
Oh no, dice everywhere.
Actually, to be honest,
stay at 1.
either way.
Stay at 1.
Stay at-
Keep it there.
Okay.
We want you away from frenzy.
Yeah.
Way.
Oh yeah.
But so it's the 2 of you and Abigail.
No, Abigail's
Abigail's
run
part
away.
of them. She's with
she
them.
was. She was the girl probably in the bathroom.
Yeah.
Mind blown.
There you go. If only we'd snuck a peek in the bathroom, you see, we'd have seen through
Okay,
the
this
screws.
PDF
I
does not...
think really
Do you know
what
what page it is?
For
Combat.
Phil? Conflicts.
I'm sorry, this is my fault. I made him look up some blood magic stuff in the PDF earlier, and I made him lose his
Nothing
pain.
good can come from blood magic.
This is a moral to this story.
There is a moral to this.
123.
Never trust a dreamer.
Well, nothing useful is going to come from blood magic right now, that's for sure.
It might do.
Hold on a second. Your mother's name was Elizabeth.
You never know. It might, that name might scare him.
I know your mother. I'll tell
Okay,
her
almost
what you're
there.
doing.
As long as it's not Martha.
Oh god.
Martha.
Apologies. I had to do it. It was an awful, awful joke, but I had to.
Okay, we found it. I just, for the sake of speed of play, dexterity plus wits totals,
Oh my
please.
god.
Oh, my total?
Dexterity plus
6.
wits total.
4. You have to make cut somewhere.
Okay. So in this instance, you have, in this empty car park, with the Vespa scooter close by and about 3 other vehicles, which are all lying dormant. In this, it's not terribly well lit. You can see all 4 of them coming at you from slight angles, almost as though they're closing off your means of escape. Abigail has darted off towards God knows where, What are you doing?
Can I just quickly check in terms of our environment? Are there any cars in this car park?
Yep. There's 3 cars, one on its own, 2 close to each other. These are the 2 that Abigail ran towards. And then the entrance to this little parking area is where the 4 are spread, with Darren making an advance towards you.
Are there any cars that are kind of like behind us, as in into the car park rather than out, but basically that I could back behind if I wanted to?
There's 2 on. If you were to glance,
Leave me here.
if you glanced off towards your left, you have the pair of cars, which is where Abigail ran to.
Fine.
And then potentially the alleyway beyond that. And then you have the single car up close to the entrance, which is ahead of you.
Okay, so what I would like to do... am I going before... Assuming I'm going...
We haven't started fighting yet.
I mean, you, in terms of the dexterity plus wits totals, you would, since at the moment you are taking any other action.
Okay, I'm not. All I'm going to do is say, look, she didn't have anything to do with this. If you want to, could you just let her go, and then I'll talk to you.
What? So she can go and fucking call the police? You're both fucking culpable. I don't give 2 shits about which one of you went into my house. I'm making a point now.
Well, I'd like to make a point as well.
And he starts running towards you.
Oh, fuck!
Okay, so we will count this as him moving to engage in melee, and he will go towards Ben, so I'm assuming you were... Actually, which one of you would have stepped forward in your little...
I was not stepping forward.
You're assuming one of us stepped forward.
Yeah.
Which one of you's forward? I'll tell you what, if we can't decide because...
me. I'll be forward.
Okay.
I'll be forward.
Okay, so he rushes towards Benjamin, lifting up the crowbar high, and you can just see... just on the edge, and you can smell it as well, particularly since you're still active with Blush of Health. You can sense the smell of Mrs. Morovsky's blood still dried on this crowbar. And as he rushes forward and lifts it, I'm going to be making... I need you to make a strength plus brawl check.
Oh, we're going... Okay.
Unless you're attempting to dodge.
I think I probably am attempting to dodge.
Okay, so in which case I believe it's dexterity plus athletics.
Yeah. 3.
Okay. 1. So as he comes towards you and he swings high, you duck out of reflex just underneath, and you can hear that as the crowbar just sings overhead. It comes uncomfortably close to Katia, and he lifts it again as the expression just darkens, and the others begin fanning out and advancing forwards. The one that had his hands in his pocket just draws it out and keeps it close to his side and just starts marching towards Katia. Okay, so we will say, what are you doing?
I mean... Benjamin's pretty freaked out. There's a guy with a crowbar trying to hit him. I guess what I'm going to be doing is essentially trying to get something between me and him. So I think what I will try and do is can I whip behind the car?
Okay.
As my action, because I wasn't engaging anyway. Because what I quite like to do is if I can put the car between me and him, is to duck down behind the car and then obfuscate.
Okay. He will get to go before you because it's classed as engaged. He is now engaged with you. He moves into engage, and then you are classed as engaged.
Okay, so do I need to make another effectively athletics dex
He will
to
when he
disengage?
goes for you, but then any other actions involves you moving off and then performing what I believe would be a block. You're attempting to block to stop him from doing it. So, based on what I can recall from the rules, I assume blocking would work more than manoeuvres.
You're cool. Basically, what I think I'm going to do, if I can just quickly run back behind the car,
okay.
So the car is between me and him,
yep.
And then obfuscate. That's what I'd like to do.
Excellent. Katia.
Okay,
What is
I
your plan?
am backing up quickly, but I have a hand with my phone out. And I'm saying, listen, I've got my finger on the dial right now. I will fucking call the police at this moment.
Try, bitch. And he brings up the crowbar again.
Okay.
Right. So, the others all begin moving forwards just as Darren, as you begin moving off, making ready, he lifts up the crowbar and then his eyes turn toward Katia in the phone and he brings it down towards her instead.
Oh.
Are you dodging or are you going to make this a two-way conflict?
Oh, cripes. Dodging is to my advantage right now.
Okay.
I kind of want a bestial success right now. That'd be lovely. That is 2 successes.
Okay. as he swings it towards you, you duck out of reflex, and the phone comes down with you. It doesn't get dislodged or anything, just as he swings, and it can tell from the expression on his face and then as he lifts the weapon again that he's getting frustrated. The others all begin moving in just as Benjamin backpedals and then darts off towards the cars. And as you duck down behind it, I need, because technically you are still being watched, I will need a... Can you just look up obfuscate for me? Just so
It would be,
on this page?
well, if he wants to duck out of sight.
If I break their line of sight, I can obfuscate.
Okay, so
Yeah, he
you
has to
I
break
have
the
to
line
make a
of
rouse
sight.
check for this, though, it's level 2.
He
Okay.
could potentially like the
Apologies,
a
guys, still getting
stealth,
used to the rules.
sort of a stealth check to make sure
Yeah, if
he
you
gets out of it. But if the car is big enough, he just completely moves out of it
Okay.
and then activates the power.
All right. Well, we'll say that you move down behind the car and you throw yourself down. Not completely on the floor, but enough that you can feel the rain just dripping down behind your back and underneath your shirt. You're now fully drenched. But as you drop, all of a sudden you can feel a numbness just go over you as you just vanish.
Okay, I'm going to make a rouse check,
Get hungry.
because this is level 2 obfuscate.
No, we're both on 3.
It's the hungry people.
Now we have 2 vampires at 3
hungry
hunger.
cat.
Yeah.
And we're outside of our own domain. This ain't good.
Yeah, that's why we're.
Okay.
Why are you not trying to feed? Because we're outside our domain. Yeah.
Okay.
Be poaching.
So
Run,
as
run,
you
run, run, run.
as you step away and you go, you feel that numbness go over you. Things don't seem to change for you, but you are aware of this sensation you've experienced once before when in the company of Edmund, and he's explained it to you that this makes you hard to see. It makes you almost invisible, and it's something that you feel comfortable and familiar with. And as you kind of just duck, you stop, and you can feel the movements of people. It's odd. It's like you can feel the tremors through the floor, and you can smell everything, the wetness, the dampness around you. You can smell the exhaust, and it's frightening just how clear your sensations come. And over it all, you can hear the as the crowbar whips around, and the other 3 begin moving in towards Katia. Darren lifts his crowbar again and brings it down towards...
No one follows him.
Huh?
No one follows him.
No, not yet.
Okay.
Not yet. Darren is going to go for you.
Right.
When the other ones go for you, each time you roll 1 less.
Oh my god.
Shit.
Okay?
I told you this would happen. Second
Okay.
session in. I'm not
I
surprised.
told you guys we needed a fridge with blood bags for people in torpor.
Okay. I need a defensive roll from you. As he lifts his weapon up high and brings it down, and you can hear the whipping of it even before it comes close to you.
Didn't have time to get my knife out, guys.
You have a knife?
Hell yeah. Of course I have
3
a knife.
successes you're trying to beat.
3!
Holy shit.
I'm gonna take some damage. Oh, 1 fell out. That's 1 success.
One
yeah.
success. Okay. Because he has a margin of 2, 2 plus the 2 from the knife means you take 4 superficial damage. Half down to 2. From the crowbar. Same damage value either way.
Alright.
And it drops down to 2.
2 damage.
So you take 2 damage as you step away, trying to backpedal and gain some ground between these
Ouch.
these
Can I
individuals
use
who
your
are all
rabbit as a
circling
shot?
towards you.
Yeah, because it's super.
You feel uncomfortably harried as one comes around you and just lifts his fist ready to deck you, and as you're watching him out of the corner of your eye, you just see the crowbar come down and it snaps past your chin, and you can feel the slight dislodge as your jaw just shifts out of place, and you can feel an iron sensation go behind your throat, an involuntary one, as whatever lingering blood is still there. It doesn't go flying. It doesn't, because you don't bleed anymore.
Okay.
But you can taste it, and particularly now that taste is ecstatic and energizing, and as your jaw dislodges, you can see rather than you can see and you can hear the one coming up from the side, and he brings a punch down towards your side, trying to wind you. 1 less when you roll this.
Yeah.
It's all hunger
Guys,
now.
do
Oh,
I,
shit.
no, I don't think it's time. I think that's a last case scenario.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
2
I
successes.
have a turn left, if I get to my turn. We'll see.
2 successes.
That's
one. That's
no,
one
that's
success.
that's 2 1s on a hunger dice. Our first bestial failure.
However, that is a 10 on.
There is 1 10 though, actually, on
That's
another
right,
hunger
yeah,
dice.
it's
110, that still counts as 1 until it's paired up.
Okay, so is that just nothing then?
That's just
Because you rolled less than him, it still counts as a bestial
Yeah, I know.
failure.
Yeah.
It's a bestial failure. All right.
It still counts. So
Our
now...
first bestial failure.
I just want to say I predicted it would be me from the start.
Okay. She did, actually. Foresight. Your compulsion
Oh.
Can I have that paper?
Oh, I
back,
get a
please?
note.
Yes, you
If
can.
there's any room. Sorry.
Oh, yeah, here, have a new one.
Good.
Hey, I'm going to write
Paper airplane over.
what compulsion you are going to be subject to
Nice.
until it's been satisfied. Okay.
Oh my god.
As a result of, you've taken how many successes? 1.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so he gained 1 in excess, meaning that you take 1 superficial, halved, and then rounded up. So you take 1. So as the crowbar connects with your jaw and you can feel it come out of flux, you feel the punch come in low from the side, and were you alive, you would feel winded. But the punch down to your side almost doubles you, and it brings you in eye line of the last guy, who moves between his peers and brings his hand away from his side and tries to drive in with a knife.
Okay. Guys,
Another roll, 1 less.
that's 1 dice. No, it's 2. It's 2 dice.
2 dice.
But I could make it 3.
Nah, we could.
I could.
Yeah,
I'm
don't
gonna.
risk-
No, I'm only on 3. I would only go up to 4. Only. But there is kind of my own blood everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, 4 and 5 is when you want to be careful.
Okay, alright, I won't risk
Ready?
it this time. Yeah. That's 2 successes!
Compared to his 1.
Yay!
Okay, so as you can see his hand come around, it's the flash in the minor lighting in this area which forewarns you about this blade coming loose. And even as harried as you feel, as cornered as you feel, you throw yourself aside, using the momentum of the impact onto your side to bring you out of alignment, just as the blade flashes past. You, as you kind of glance up over the top of the bonnets, nobody seeming to pay you any mind, and even through all this rainfall, you can just see Katia surrounded by these 4 individuals, and their arms rising and falling. One with a weapon, one with something that you can't quite see, and another one just bringing his fist into her side. She is quite clearly outnumbered.
Yeah.
Okay, so I need intentions. What are you doing?
So, how quickly can I get to the other side of the car park, or run past them to get clear?
Depending on what you've got planned, you could probably do it and an action.
Okay, what I would like to do, I think, is call Jim whilst
On speed dial.
on
You go like.
speed dial,
You can carry my torpid body
whilst
away.
It will bring you out of obfuscate.
What, dialing the phone?
Well, that and you're running.
Yeah. Well, that's fine because I'm figuring that they're all engaged with
They're
her.
focused, it's
So
fine.
I'm quite happy for them to notice me and start chasing me back to the domain. So I'm going to run.
With the phone.
How long? In terms of rounds, the reason I'm asking this is I can potentially use Silence of Death, so I could stealth leave completely and then phone. But I want the fastest route to calling Jim, so
An entire round is probably about 3 to 6 seconds.
it would take about that long for the phone to dial through anyway, right?
Probably, yeah, to dial through, but it's
Fine.
going to take him longer to get there.
Yeah, that's fine.
You are 5 blocks away.
So what I want to
Yeah.
do, I think, is I want to basically, yeah, I'm gonna run because it might draw their attention.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna dial Jim and I'm gonna run, make a break for it out of this place.
Okay. One of their actions then is going to be to attempt to block you from fleeing. The one that is unarmed. Darren is still gunning for you, and so is the one with the knife, who is trying to come up on the other side, intent on sheathing it in your stomach.
Yay!
Whereabouts are we? Have we just? Mose and I could.
You two are still back at the domain.
I would just kind of finish that conversation about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Phone call's not clear.
Well,
I will
Jim-
get to you.
Yeah.
I will get to you.
Yeah.
Katia, what are
It's
you
in my
doing?
turn. Lovely. Okay, I'm not suffering any penalties yet.
There's always time.
Oh, there will be. So it comes down to, do I run? Or attempt something kind of artsy?
I don't want to know the definition of artsy of a dreamer.
Yeah.
Keep in
It's-
mind
it's not
the order
particularly fun.
for transparency,
Yeah.
and as a reminder to people, the order in which actions occur are close combat engaged,
Yeah.
so already engaged, which is all of them at the moment. Any ranged combat, newly initiated close combat, and everything else.
Everything else. But if it's an action I'm still performing whilst engaged.
It counts as everything else, I assume, because I suppose you could attempt it.
It's
as long
just
as
not
you're still in
it's
close
not
combat.
necessarily throwing a punch. I think.
Okay. Yeah.
Let's say
Well, for now we'll say yeah.
Hypothetically, since he's so kind of distracted, would potentially using cloud memory on him at the moment produce an interesting...
It'd be very difficult to do.
Yeah.
You could
Alright.
attempt it.
I think for now I might just leg it. At least try, like, just bleeding everywhere.
Okay. In that case, they are gonna attempt to block you.
Okay.
Okay. So Darren's going to take a swing. The individual with the knife is going to attempt to attack you.
Mm-hmm.
And then we are going to do an opposed roll to see whether or not you two can get away.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, Darren.
Okay.
Full dice pool. 4 successes.
One success.
Okay. A total.
Sorry, you got time now.
As you see the blade come up fast and you witness almost appearing out of nowhere, Benjamin just running full pelt towards the exit. You can see one of the individual who threw a punch into your gut suddenly turns his head towards Benjamin as he takes off and just splits off from the group and starts trying to head him off before he can reach the exit. As you watch this, you can see in your peripheral the crowbar come up again and it comes down towards your neck, dealing 5 points of superficial damage, half down to 2.5, raised up to 3.
I do believe this is my first point of aggravated damage.
In which case,
This is so much fun, guys.
you are now impaired. Impaired?
Yeah.
You are now impaired. You are now impaired.
So I put a little X in the
Yep.
first box.
And
Yeah?
can you look up the critical injury chart for me, please?
Oh yeah, give me a good one.
Santo.
Come on, load up.
This is bad.
Thank you
Now
for
my
bearing with us,
character
guys.
has asthma, just like me.
Both with all the technical issues and with us poring over books, trust me, we will get more accustomed to the
Also,
rules.
we will have the actual book soon, so this will all be a lot
Yes.
easier because we're also trying
When
not
they're
to.
shipped on this,
Yeah.
to this side
Yeah,
of the
we're
pod.
trying not to offend the Wi-Fi gods by continuously looking up stuff in a digital PDF, given the issues you've already seen. But we will have a book soon, and the Wi-Fi will also be good.
We are assured they're coming soon-ish. But so once the books are obviously out and we've got them, it'll be a lot easier for us to look through rules and stuff and, you know, spend more time gaming and less time surfing.
If
Found
we
it?
can't find it, should we just make one up?
Do you really want me to make one up? That's
Maybe
very
I do.
brave of you. Do you know what? I'd probably give the mic over to Mitchell to come up with one. He tends to come
Mitch
up
is
with
my
something
friend.
nasty.
Mitch would be nice.
Not in this context, he won't be.
If he wants any more art this week, he's got to be nice.
Oh, no, actually, I'm not going to give it to
aggravated
Mitch.
damage
I
roll.
kind of want more. Found it?
Yeah, aggravated damage plus roll. Yeah, I've got that.
Okay, so I need you to roll a d10. Add
You.
1.
That's 11. My rolled a 10. Yeah.
Ouch, jeez.
What have I got?
Can you
Has
read
my
it to
head
me,
come
please?
off? Am I dead?
11. Massive wound. Make all rolls at -2. Add +1 to all additional damage suffered.
So make a note for that.
Hell yeah.
Okay, and make a note that you have that injury. As the crowbar comes down towards your neck, the hooked end of it comes in and buries into the stream of your neck. He doesn't seem to notice this so much as he is taken with adrenaline and just pure anger. And as the crowbar comes in, it embeds and he rips it away and a chunk of your neck comes away. What would be quite a bloody and disgusting injury. Here's the question.
Yeah.
Are you going to make it realistic?
Ooh.
Are you going to risk rousing the blood
Yes.
so you bleed?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
rouse the blood. This will count as blush of life,
Okay.
so it's active for the rest of the night.
10.
10, okay. As it comes away, there is a fleeting part of your mind which, despite the pain, despite the onslaught you are facing,
Got the analytical.
is registering the fact that this is a dangerous situation you are in, beyond the obvious. And as the flesh comes away, even though it's still attached and kind of there, it begins pooling blood and then begins seeping blood and then begins bleeding fully, as a wound like that would expect it to be. They look towards this injury, the other ones other than Darren, and their eyes kind of narrow. And then the blade, which was coming up towards your gut, continues its course towards you.
I'm gonna get murderized.
One last roll. With impairment,
With impairment.
So it's
Minus
So I have
1.
One
A
die.
die.
One die.
It's cool. I'm gonna play dead at 6, so 1 success.
No successes.
I catch you with my arm as I go down.
Okay. As the blade comes towards you, it slips past your coat, and you can feel the tugging as your fabric tears from the blade going through.
Well, that's it.
But the moment that's where the line to draw.
Frenzy.
But the moment that the blade comes in, almost by reflex, he pulls it out and turns and begins darting. And the moment that their eyes come toward, they notice that the blade's sunking anywhere close to your flesh, and the blood's seeping from this wound. Immediately, they all start turning and running off in the direction of where their companion's gone to try and head off Benjamin. They begin following directly in his foot patch. You can hear the wet thud, thud, thud of their foot going through the puddles that are forming in this car park, leaving you there in a bloodied state at the heart of this area. And as they come towards the exit, they just split off and run off. The one that was following you sees his companions coming towards him, and he just stops and then takes off after them instead.
So, are you saying that no one's now trying to chase me?
No one. The moment that the blood was drawn, they've done a runner.
I hope you remember I did this for you.
Think about it.
Yeah.
You are helping a friend, and then you realize, oh, I can go down for murder for this
Katya,
one. So,
despite the physical pain that you are currently feeling, numb though it is to your body being resilient to this kind of injury, you can feel the tightness, and it's that strange sensation that you experienced multiple times before, a mixture of raw, unrelenting hunger mixed with something else. There's anger there, there's fury, there's a blind destructive will. I need from you, because that was a lot of damage to suffer in such a short time, a willpower check from you, please.
Right. So for a willpower check, I'd roll my number of dice equal to my willpower level.
Yep, and as long as you haven't spent any willpower or you haven't suffered any damage.
Am I
And
right?
there's no hunger.
There's no hunger dice doesn't come into
No.
willpower rolls.
no.
Okay, well, it doesn't really matter what colour I use then. Well, that's gone.
Ooh. No, I don't believe it.
no,
Okay.
No.
We have a critical. I mean, there's also a 1, 2 10s.
Two
and
tens
there's
still
also-
One
counts.
stone.
All right, so yeah.
Ones don't cancel. If you get 2 tens together, it counts as 4 successes instead of 2, which is more than enough. So that as that fury begins building, and as your hand comes away bloody, the fingers on your hand begin clenching into, of their own accord, into a tight ball. And were you alive, you might feel the sensation of your fingernails puckering into your flesh. And now that the blood is running freely through your body, you can feel the blood welling in your palm. But then you focus on other things. You focus on your breathing, which is now happening automatically. You focus on the fact that you can hear Benjamin speaking down the phone. You recognize his voice. You think about Will. You think about your family. You think about other things, and slowly that knot in your stomach lessens. It's still there, and it's still very prominent, but it's like you're kind of waking from a moment of reverie as you're aware of where you are, and you're aware that you're standing in the middle of a lit car park, bleeding profusely from the shoulder. And as you kind of look around out of this haze, you can hear the advancing footsteps of Benjamin.
Yeah, so if they've all shot off the other way, I would have
Yeah.
skidded to a stop. Something I will be doing, you know when the Abigail split off,
Yep.
was it like she split off and left the car park? Or
Yeah.
was it, okay.
She did a full runner.
Okay.
That's the only reason your obfuscate wasn't opposed. Otherwise, she would have been able to see where you went in.
Alright, I'm going to go, yeah, I will be going back towards Katya with obviously the phone ringing.
Okay. So as you kind of double back, and you can see Katya in the centre of this, the car park on her own now, very much on her own. Your phone call has connected, and you can hear Jim moving up out of the basement to get away from the incessant mumblings of Moses
Ben.
and his chupacabras.
Katya's just been attacked by
What?
Darren. The four of them, they jumped us in a car
I
park.
start running to it. Where? I'm on my way. Where?
I'll give him the address.
Okay.
And I'll
Phone
go,
off.
and I'll go to you.
Okay.
what happened?
I'm already gone.
See, he's spooked out by the ghost.
Okay.
I'm just like staring at the screen. He doesn't tell me anything. I'm just like
What screen?
the
Computer's turned off.
I ran, like I literally, if the computer is turned off, I literally run barefoot and on my like mismatching pajamas behind him.
Okay.
I really tried to keep up my Mask of the Thousand Faces that I had.
Okay.
While I run behind him.
You both.
3, so
I don't care if people think that I'm a crazy lover behind my boyfriend who scorned me. I don't care. I'm just running behind him.
You both flee out of the B&B into the rain, leaving it.
Behind you.
the tank goes broken.
I don't care. I don't care.
Nope. Doors open. You do a full run out of the building, taking off after Jim. You can pick him out in the crowd, and you draw a few glances, not least because you are bolting full on down the street, one on the phone, the other in pajamas. But you are tearing off down the street, and it doesn't take you long to find where Benjamin's kind of stood out, kind of.
Well, I'll probably be approaching. Oh, wait, just abandon Catherine.
It doesn't take you too long. Well, I mean, like from just outside of the car park where you can see them. But as you guys come to the rough area, certainly you, Jim, who's stretched slightly beyond the area of the domain, wandering the areas, getting the lay of the land, you know where this car park is. And you go tearing off, and you turn the corner, and then a few moments later, Moses, in his full pajamaed glory, comes tearing out after. And you both immediately see the sight of Benjamin close to Katia, who is sporting quite a grievous-looking wound on the shoulder. She looks battered, her jaw is at an odd angle. Her coat is slightly ripped. The umbrella is lying discarded on the ground beside them.
Damn, what stats does an umbrella have as a weapon?
Negligible.
Damn it.
Negligible. This isn't like one of those kung fu movies.
After Jim stops, I'm running like as if someone was chasing me, and then when I get to Jim, I just grab his arms like, the computer turned off. The computer turned off, and I fully freaked on.
Yeah.
Jim.
I'm tear off a section of my shirt and sort of press it against the wound.
I've already got like my scarf balled up.
What happened?
Should we get back inside and talk about this out of the public?
Yes, I don't see quite why Moses is dashed out here in his pyjamas. I think we all ought to get back now.
Yeah, so Darren did this?
Should we get back inside and talk about it, like we said? And maybe try not to draw as much attention?
I've taken my coat off, turned it inside out, so it's probably got it's got a darker lining. So obviously it's pretty bloody on the outside. I've turned it inside out so bloodstains aren't obvious. I'm wearing a black turtleneck underneath, so the stain isn't too obvious. And kind of just clamped my scarf over the wound.
Clothing. I thought it'd be useful.
Can I use?
I'm striding off.
Can I use the umbrella to effectively shield the side of her neck where the big wound is?
You begin moving off collectively, I'm assuming.
Collectively.
Okay. Away from the.
I give an out
on the side. Yeah, I'm watching them, but I rather look like a beggar on pajamas under the rain. On the other, like I'm barefoot. Come on.
I suggest maybe we don't walk in a clump of 4 in 3 uninjured blokes and 1 grievously injured female. Maybe. Yeah.
Well,
Good timing, guys. Well done, Jim. You're fine. Ben, I'm very impressed. Now let's go.
What?
Your combat skills are amazing.
You begin moving back towards the crossed hands, and to improve Katia's mood, it's open wide. Lights on inside, and as you return inside, I'm assuming you shut the door and lock it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, probably Will did that. Because we left her there, moving stuff from the car.
No, the door's still open.
Oh, where's Will?
Will is moving stuff up into her room.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, I'll totally lock the door.
Okay. Okay, as you come in and do that, you can hear footsteps coming from upstairs. And then Will appears on the top of the stairs, and the smile on her face suddenly drops.
Well, it's fine. Don't worry about it.
What happened?
There's some local shithead. It was assumed it had been dealt with.
I think we can safely assume it's not been dealt with at all.
No.
Yeah, I got that impression.
I'm going to pay another visit, I think.
We should talk.
I'm going to change clothes.
She begins taking off her big coat and then starts moving on.
It's not yet. Wait, later. Not here. It'll be okay.
We need that fridge with blood bags.
Who's this?
This is. I'm double checking the door's locked.
It's locked.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't introduce you earlier. This is Will. She is my ghoul.
Changing clothes.
I'm so sorry. Oh, this is. I mean, I thought they were going to come for me.
You know, I would have thought that. It's funny that I would have thought that too, especially when you suddenly disappeared. I thought they'd go straight after you.
Well, yes, I thought they would follow me behind the car, and then you would be able to. It all happened so fast.
Let's be honest. I look like the easier target.
Well, yeah.
They set us up, and we walked into it because I just didn't think that this is what happens in real life to people. I just thought we were helping a young girl in London, and I mean it was all a setup. She must have been the girl, the one that he was talking to in the bathroom. Abigail, I mean.
You left her. You left her.
We left her.
Did you leave her?
No. What, the girl, Abigail?
No. Did you leave Katia?
No.
Well, it's all right, really. If anything, I handled the situation in the best way. I mean, it dissolved. They thought they'd murdered someone. Now they're probably terrified, and I'll make a miraculous recovery, and we'll scare the
I'll
living
make
shit
sure
out
they're
of them.
fucking terrified after.
Well, we have to discuss what we're going to do, but maybe you need some kind of help
I might
first.
head upstairs
Abigail
for a bit. I'll be
left
fine.
Nothing. She went in there, checked the room and
Helmet.
left. No. No, the helmet was left in there.
So she had not her small backpack.
No. Didn't have a backpack. She just had a helmet.
Okay, cool. Cool. I bring out the helmet. It's like, this is the only thing we have from Abigail.
Well, I mean, it's probably stolen.
I don't know.
The important thing is, we did not commit any transgressions outside our domain.
We should talk about what we're going to do, don't you think? I mean, obviously, when you've had a chance to.
Yeah.
That is, we need to know what we're doing. I didn't realise this sort of thing was going to happen, and I think we need to talk about what we do.
I mean, I'm not
Ready
familiar with
to
this
go
part
out.
of London either, but
I'm getting dressed.
evidently
Wait
it
for a minute.
does.
Let me get dressed.
I'm gonna have to. Oh fuck! This is ruined.
Yeah,
Throw
as
my
you kind of
scarf
take it
on the
away
floor.
and reveal the flap of skin which is just dangling off,
Oh.
revealing the mess of muscle and the top of the bone that you can see.
Jim's going very taking.
What are your hunger levels out of interest?
Huh?
3, 2, 1. Damn it! Where are my 4s?
No.
Give it
no
about.
pause. I mean, I was nearly a fool.
Give it a couple of healing checks.
Will's
Right there.
eyes widen and she takes a step forwards.
Well, it's fine. We've been in worse situations, right?
Yeah, but I mean, shouldn't you see that? Make sure it's okay first, and then.
Yeah, we can check that upstairs. I don't want to do it in the lobby.
No, but I mean, from what it sounds like, this place isn't very secure. If someone comes in, they're going to see
Yeah,
it.
there's what's this about an unlocked door?
Well, that's what Moses. That's why I wasn't on the roof when they followed you so quick.
Yeah, why did you dash out in your pajamas? What the fuck?
Apparently,
Yeah,
the
I'm
place is
changing clothes in the
haunted.
basement. I'm not there at the moment.
Haunted.
Oh, you've gone. Yeah, you're changing.
Moses will show you. Will show you soon. But it seems to be that I saw it on the footage. I don't fucking understand it, but on the footage, it zoomed in, the bolt undid, and the door opened on its own accord.
I wouldn't mind seeing this. And my demeanour kind of noticeably changes a little.
Are you all right to have a discussion, or do you need some time or something? Do you need anything?
I mean,
I really think you ought to have that sorted.
I'd want to look over the footage when we have this discussion. There's no point discussing security if we've got no idea why things are randomly unlocking in this place. So...
I mean, if you're worried, I mean, I can stay and watch the door.
Well,
I mean, I'm not. I don't have to go to sleep when the sun comes up.
No, it's fine.
Darren also won't be expecting an immediate retaliation.
No, I think
Yes, but
until we can decide what our course of action is going forward, we need to hold off.
I think that we need to think about what we're going to do before we do it. And if you just charge off after him, who knows what could happen? I think we need to decide. Well, I mean, he can't just be allowed to wander about as he is. But we you know, we can't just. I mean, we can't just go and kill him, can we?
I'm not going to kill him. Maybe trash his place to
Yeah,
smither.
but the more
That didn't
the
go
more
very
you-
well last time, did it?
Yeah, the more you provoke him, the more this is going to happen. We leave it for now. We leave it
I mean,
for
forgive
now.
me for saying so. I mean, I realise I'm just a ghoul and you guys are not, but
Is it
it's
early-ish in the morning?
you guys aren't the ones that are currently suffering the consequences of this. So
What time is it in the evening?
now you're probably looking at about
It's
11,
winter,
12ish. 11, 12ish. It's not late. You guys rose, had your discussion, and then all of this started.
Mm.
So you're looking just before midnight.
It will reflect on all of us if the police get involved, and I can see that happening far too easily.
Well, police will get involved. I'm coming up from back from downstairs. Like, police will get involved with Darren either way. Mrs. Smirnovsky most likely already gave them.
Yeah, I'd rather there wasn't the question of, we clubbed this person half to death, and then they didn't bother
Are you
turning up to
going?
A&E.
Are you going to see Mrs. Smirnovsky tomorrow?
Yeah, I can do.
Well, let's see how you are. I mean,
Is it wise to go to the? I mean, forgive me again for saying, but is it wise for you to go into the
Exactly.
hospital with
I'd
a?
rather not show my face for a few days, if that makes any sense.
I mean, I don't know how long that'll take you to heal, but
Neither do I. I mean, hey, it's always fun to find out, isn't it?
Should we?
I advise you feed.
I might go and start.
She's in no state
That
to hunt. Should we
process.
bring her some blood bags from the hospital? It's only 2 blocks away.
Jim's gaze more turns towards Will. Do you? Huh?
I'll try to get her some bags from the hospital.
well, is that?
how it's been explained to me is that that's not part of your territory. Do you really
Yes.
want to
No, it
risk
isn't.
something else?
No, I think we should stay.
I mean, I'm
within the
here.
rules.
We can feed now.
Me and Will can go upstairs for a while. I'll be fine. And then I'll come back, and then we can have our discussion, and I can look over the
alright.
footage.
All right.
Yeah,
so,
that's twice in a row. I'm gonna start doing a research like inside the house.
are you going to be some hours, or are you going to be? The only reason I'm asking is that I feel like I want to speak to Edmund soon, and I wasn't sure whether to do it before or after the discussion. That's all.
I don't know. I guess I'll find out. I don't. It's not every day I try and repair this.
Oh no, of
sort
course. No, I'm not.
damage.
No. I don't think I should. I mean, if you're not sure you can repair it, I'm not sure I should just.
Oh, I can repair it. It's just a matter of time. I can't say for sure how long, but when they luck, it won't be too long. Although I might have to spread it out over a couple of nights. Hence, another reason I can't go swanning off to the hospital anytime soon.
Need to make sure you're fed.
Yeah, don't worry. It'll be fine.
Am I right in saying that I'm finding her neck queen quite distracting?
Yes. Because this is not just a kind of puncture mark left by a crowbar. This is a puncture mark, and then the flesh has been pulled, so it's on a hinge.
Like
Okay.
torn.
Yeah, there is a good chunk of
tear.
her muscle revealed. I mean, to take
Yeah.
that high on a critical injury,
Yeah.
this is
Yeah.
an injury that should have sent someone into shock.
Yeah.
She should, by all means, be bleeding out and dying now.
I must say you're being very stoic about all of this.
Yeah, well, I've been like this for a few years. Stuff happens.
Yes.
Go feed.
I'm going upstairs. See you guys soon. Don't go anywhere until then,
Okay.
please.
I'll watch the neck queen leave.
Will follows on quickly behind you, and you go. She immediately takes you towards your room where she's been unloading stuff. You can see all different bits of your equipment that's been brought from the chantry. It's been put together in marked boxes that she has categorized and catalogued based upon your requirements in the past. And the moment that you go in, she takes off her coat and then just starts trying to roll up her sleeve.
As she does that, I'm not like really looking. As I enter kind of the top floor room, I kick the door shut with a sudden kind of explosive, just like shit.
She
It
immediately
shouldn't have happened like that. I can't even. Oh my god, it's
She gets up,
ridiculous.
moves over towards you, and then just takes your arm and just slowly tries to go, not forcefully, but just tries to guide you over to sit down on the half-made bed that she was halfway through trying to make for you. A redundant practice, really, but she's attempted to as best she can, and she sits you down.
Thank you. Okay, yeah.
You can talk to me, you know.
I know I can, and you can talk to me. But you know how much I hate this.
No, I know.
It shouldn't be necessary. It shouldn't happen like this.
Well, it's safer.
I know. I mean, this whole thing. I shouldn't just have to stand there and get beaten into the ground. I should by now. It shouldn't be something that just happens. It's been 3 years, Will. I've been working. I've been working at this hard. I didn't stop. I didn't disappoint. I shouldn't have this problem.
Takes your hand and just grips it as you vent.
Maybe it. This is why I was kicked out. Is this it? Am I just?
You didn't do anything wrong. If you shouldn't have said that, then they should have told you not to say that.
Yeah, well.
I mean, you're not a fucking mind reader.
I feel like I should have been able to do something. I couldn't even get a word in edgeways. What's the point of being able to speak to people if no one wants to listen? I wish I could make them listen.
Make them listen.
Yeah, well, I can't do that yet. It'll happen.
Yet.
But
You will.
It's been so long. How long does he expect it to take? I mean, I haven't been to see Sabine for ages. I just feel like I've reached like a brick wall. I can't go any further. I can't do anything. I'm fucking pathetic.
You're not. And she shuffles closer and just, there's a familiarity in the way that she is towards you, away from public eye, and it's almost like sisterly bond in the way that she is. And you've grown accustomed to this at this point. She reaches into her pocket and just pulls out her own phone. Sabine actually said that if you needed to talk, you can call her. She hasn't been in touch yet because, well, obviously she's dealing with fallout.
Yeah.
But she said to call her if you need her to, or I can take a message to her.
Nah, not yet. That would be. I mean, if anyone else got wind of it, it would be. I mean, it would be completely ridiculous.
Not really. I mean, you're supposed to be representing your clan. I mean, how can you do that if you can't talk to your clan?
Yeah, I feel like I've got to show a little bit more cohesion, a little bit more. I've got to look like I am managing the responsibility of this domain. If on the first night they get word that I was almost put into torpor by 3 blokes with a flippin' crowbar, they'll never ask for me to come back.
Well, no one needs to know.
No,
You feed from me, you heal, and you deal with the problem. I mean, it's not my decision, but maybe not quite so bluntly as your companions seem to want to do. I mean, and I know that you're very careful about doing things like that anyway, but I mean, I don't know what to recommend. I mean, if you're worried about other people finding out, there's no one that's going to tell them.
Let's just, I guess we'll just take it one night at a time. I can't talk to Sabine yet. I need to look like I'm managing fine. Okay.
Well, she said to let you know that the offer's there to speak to her when you're ready.
Good to know. It helps. Right, I guess we should, see if we can fix this, huh?
Holds out her wrist. It's rolled up.
I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. And then
Don't be.
I will feed.
Okay. How much are you taking?
Probably 2, but slowly and very carefully.
Okay. It takes a moment, and the moment that you begin, the moment that your fangs protrude and then pierce the wrist, she lets out a sigh and her body starts to go limp, and that coiling in your guts suddenly intensifies almost painfully, and without meaning to, you kind of grab her and pull her closer via the wrist. She doesn't fight it, but it's instinctive, and as she kind of curls into you with the effect, pleasure overwhelms you both, and you can feel the blood just going down a throat which is otherwise dry, save for your own blood which pooled there previously. And the pain begins to lessen and lessens, and you can hear in the very base of your eardrum, and it's almost encouraging you to keep going, but with considerable will, you stop. You retract your fangs and you lick the wounds closed, and her eyes, which were fluttering, stop as she leans away from you and immediately pulls herself upright, slightly paler than she was before, and just pulls her sleeve back down.
You should lie down. I'm sorry. Just lie down for a while.
No, I'm okay. I mean,
You'll be wobbly. I don't want you falling down the stairs. I need to go take a shower anyway. I can't go down like this. It's disgusting.
Okay.
I'll go off and take a shower.
Okay. You guys, what are you currently doing?
Are you just still in the lobby?
In the lobby, I just go like, you know what? I'm gonna keep looking at the footage and see if I have access to the security cameras around that parking lot to see where they went off, how they got in. More information.
Yes, I think information would be very useful.
Yeah, let's call it a night. I will spend the rest of the night looking for information. Okay.
Well, I think once Katya is finished, if she's up to it, we're going to.
That's gonna be tomorrow.
Oh, is it? Oh.
Did you see her?
Yes.
That's not gonna be today.
Yes, I suppose you're right. Yes. Right. Well, in that case, I probably am going to. I'm going to go and see Edmund in that case, and then
before you go.
Yes.
This is the first time you've ever been anywhere close to a fight, I'm guessing.
Yes. I mean, apart from a few scuffles at school, which I should say I generally avoided.
I wouldn't call it a fight.
Yes. No, it was awful. But it's all right. I mean, I thought they went for her.
But yet you called me pretty straight off, I'm guessing?
Oh, yes. Well, yes. I mean, it all happened very fast.
And you were out there to look at what?
Well, the Abigail needed us to. She was worried about her bike, and I suppose now that we think about it, obviously it was extremely dodgy. But at the time, I just thought, well, it was a girl on her own in London. There were two of us. It seemed a reasonable thing to do. I won't be thinking that again in a hurry, I can tell you. Yes, but it was a setup, and we walked straight into it. I'm sorry to say.
You're welcome calling me, but before, if anything like that happens again, when you think you might be lured anywhere, call me first.
Well, I mean, obviously now that I'm aware that these sort of things happen in real life, I will absolutely be phoning you quite a lot, I can tell you. But I just didn't realise it was going to happen.
And I gotta pull a what seems to be maybe a 4-inch long handle.
Okay.
Where it's in a pocket. So flick it flick it around and go. And if you get close again, you might want to use this.
Oh no! I really don't think that will go well. I'm not really a sort of, I wouldn't even know what end to hold. I don't think
What
so.
What are you giving him?
He's giving some kind of like
Switchblade.
Darren's knife.
Yeah.
You're giving him Darren's knife.
You want me to you want me to not go after him tonight?
I don't think you should go after him tonight. No.
Then take this.
All right. Here I am. I've got it.
I go pull another one and go, right, how do you use this? I explain to him how to use this flick knife.
I mean, it all sounds very simple in theory. I'm just saying I'm not a very in-practice sort of knife person.
I know, but
That's
then
all.
again, it'll give you something. Just in case.
All right.
I have an knife and I'm not afraid to use it.
All right. Well, if nothing else is happening tonight, I'm going to go and speak to Edmund, and then I'll come back. All right.
Okay.
And I will phone you if anything bad seems to happen. All right. So I will do just that.
Okay. You managed to make a quick getaway towards your private haven through the tunnels, bringing you back to your central equipment. I will need from you a resolve plus technology check. This is going to be a long search. Trying to find out anything about any kindred that's not Nosferatu in London at this point is difficult. Then again, it could be a Nosferatu. So it will be an extended check, and it will be done on an hourly basis. If you intend on doing this for the rest of the night, it will remove Moses from anything else that occurs.
I'll stagger the rolls until if they don't call me for the rest of the night, I'll just keep on doing it until. But I don't want to do the whole thing right now.
Okay, so you're not doing the whole thing.
Well, I intend to, but if I get a call in the middle of the night, I will stop. So maybe start with the first hour or two, because I believe she's going to be off for a couple of hours. He's going to go to his sire. I don't know what Dean's going to do.
Okay.
No one knows.
No one knows.
No one ever knows what Dean's
I
doing.
think it's the wise choice.
Okay. So we'll do this for the first hour then.
Yeah. Ooh.
So a resolve plus technology.
Yep.
Okay. Each roll will represent about an hour.
One success.
One success.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it will say 6, so it's not
Okay.
like a 10.
So, you return to your haven, and with all this going on,
How many? That's just the first roll.
Yeah, that's the first roll for the first hour.
Okay.
The number, how extended successes work is I choose a number of successes required, and an interval of time for each roll. You pool all the successes you have towards that, and it dictates how long it takes towards doing it.
Okay, cool.
Critical wins I tend to take note of just so that I can see how amazing it is at the end of it.
Okay, cool.
Doing messy criticals or bestial failures can be nasty, depending on what you're doing. And complete failures, meaning you roll no successes whatsoever, means you fucked up somehow.
So I lose whatever I've been.
It could be something like, for example, the individual that you're hunting for suddenly realizes that he's been looked into.
Don't need any more enemies.
Yes. So that is the one success, and this will require you looking through ShrekNet and logging in and hunting down, trying to communicate with a few people, including Sexy Pearl 68 is one of the individuals
It's
that you
okay.
speak to.
I am Exodus with a 3 and a 0, 333, because I'm like half satanic. So that's Exodus 333. That's my online name.
Okay, X.
What? It's 333. Yeah, instead of I'm just half there. Half
So
of it.
edgy.
Exodus 333. That's
Barley
my
gonna call you up.
that's my online presence. If we go into the deep web, I'm the tenor. Well, actually, my name is X, and I have like a $10 bill as my avatar, like my profile picture, and my name is X.
Professor?
No, X like in Roman numerals.
Okay.
10 as in commandments from Moses.
At least on triple X.
Moses thought a long time about his username.
I feel like this needs its whole extra video.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Moses online presence. Yeah, so Exodus. I'm talking to sexy pinky girl.
So, Sexy Pearl 68.
Oh, sorry, sexy pearl.
Sexy Pearl.
Sexy pearl 68.
Okay.
It's
so,
just one shy away. Okay.
so whilst you were doing this, and Benjamin, you are going off to see Edmund.
Yes.
Katia, you are taking a long shower to
Yeah.
wipe away the feeling of distaste that you always have when feeding with Will. You head off. Where are you going to make this phone call?
I'd say just. I'm going to head back to the roof because that seems pretty fair.
Okay. You head up onto the roof and you pull out your phone and you dial.
He's bringing a deck chair up there.
And you wait in the rain. There's no answer the first time. You try calling again, and on the second beep, the second ring, sorry, the phone answers. Yeah.
I'm in London, set up. We should probably arrange a meeting face to face.
Why, you got business?
You know why I'm here.
Yeah, I know why you're here. I said I'm going to collect on that, and I'm giving you my help.
Yeah.
And I plan on keeping to that.
Yeah.
Why are you calling now?
So you're aware that I'm set up, and hope if you've got any information that maybe I can work on.
No, the feelers are being sent out, so don't panic. I am keeping up my end of the agreement. I expect you to do yours when I cash in.
I will. Don't worry.
Anything else I can do for you tonight?
Anything we can know about the area around King's College Hospital? Know around the area?
Anywhere specifically, or just the hospital?
No, total around the area where we are.
The McDonald's is shit, don't eat there.
Yeah.
Damn it!
Sorry, it was not expected.
Do you know how many times I've corpsed? Ever. Doesn't count. Did we cut?
Damn! Of all the times,
the one
the
time you
stream
won it.
could have gone down.
Apologies.
I know.
Yeah. Other than that, no.
Thank you.
Bit of advice: if you're not going to call me for anything useful, I don't recommend you call me.
Alright.
Good night.
No?
Hangs up.
Yep.
Okay. Katya.
Yes.
I need you to roll me. So nervous. Wits plus awareness.
Oh, right.
Difficulty 4.
And this is... So I'm down to hunger 1 now. Because I was at 3.
Yep.
Yeah. I have 4 successes.
4 successes.
Yeah.
Critical success.
Let's roll 9. Nah, none of them are critical.
As you were getting out of the shower, as you turn off the shower head from the warm water that you can feel on your flesh now that you still have blood pulsing through it, it's reassuring and familiar, but something that you haven't experienced for a while. It doesn't make you feel any cleaner. On the wound, it clears away most of the gore, but the wound is still trickling. You've enough control over yourself now that you can stop it from trickling to a degree where it's detrimental, but it's unsightly. But as you step out of the shower, you can hear from the other room.
I would quickly cross into the room. Is everything okay?
Yep. Will sat there and she's just got her coat back on. Yeah, I was going to go out and see if you needed anything.
Well, I heard you flinching. You know.
Yeah, my arm hurts.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Promise me there's nothing else.
She opens her mouth to respond and then just... It's not something you need to worry about, especially with everything else going on. It's fine. I promise you, it's okay.
Well, it's not that I have to worry about these things. I want to. Okay, I want to help. Okay, I'm not just.
You've got enough to worry about. I mean, look.
Yeah. These things happen. I mean.
They happen.
Yeah.
You were crowbarred.
I was.
Hashtag crowbar.
Crowbar Tuesdays.
Crowbar Tuesdays.
Oh.
It's Monday. Anyway. I was. I know what happened, and yeah, it's pretty fucked up. But look, I'm invested in what happens to you as well, and I want to know if there's anything wrong. And forget what all those guys at the champ. Forget all of them. Like, yeah, I'm the first one to admit that sometimes they have sticks up their asses, especially when it comes to ghouls, and I wanted to make a point of the way we work together. I wanted that to be different to the way they...
It is different.
Yeah, I know, and because of that, I just want you to tell me because I want to help. It's not that I feel I have to.
Slowly begins taking the coat back off. Very slowly turns. And then grabs the top and lifts it. Her back is a mosaic of burns. Severe burns.
Did Oliver do this?
Quickly drops the top.
Please, tell me, did Oliver do this? Yeah. And, oh fuck. Did he do it because you went back?
He didn't say why.
Yeah, he wouldn't. Fucking prick. Okay, well, stay here, okay? From now on, would you mind staying? I mean, just don't go back to the chantry.
I'll heal. I'll be fine.
I know you do, but that's not the point. Just because it heals doesn't mean it's fine. You can't. I can't let this. I can't let this happen every time you go back to the chantry. It's not right. You have other places. You have here. Just don't go back, okay? Not for now. I know that Oliver is fucking pissed off with me after the whole thing. I caught all that. And he'll take it out on me in any way he can, and the only way right now he can do that is probably you, because the prince said he couldn't take it out on me. Oh, yeah.
This isn't your fault.
It's not...
I mean, we both know what kind of man he is.
It's not about whose fault it is. That doesn't... I mean, it matters, yeah, but that's not the point. The point is, if we can avoid it happening, I don't want it to happen. I don't want him to hurt you.
No, I can't now. I'm here.
Yeah, you're here now. You're here now, and you're not going back. Not for a while. And if you do, it'll be after I'm also able to go back, and then whatever he wants to take out and make himself feel better because his fucking arm got burnt, then he can do that to me, not to you. If we go back again, well, when we go back, I don't think there'll be a choice. When we go back, you're not going back alone. I'll be going back, and if he has to take this out on someone, it can be me, okay? It's not going to be you.
It's not going to be you, though, is it?
I don't know how long the prince's decree is even there for. It could have just been for the night. Maybe that's why he wanted me gone, in case he went and did something stupid.
If it was only for the night, he probably would have done something by now. The fact that he hasn't means it can't just be... I mean, even if it was intended for the night, maybe he's not willing to risk it.
Yeah.
And, I mean... And Sabine has been vocalising that she thinks that you should be restored immediately to the chantry, and that you shouldn't even be listening to Oliver. I mean, you're not his responsibility anymore.
Yeah, it's kind of ironic, right? I meant to
this
be...
is just what she's saying, but...
Yeah, I meant to be out here. I meant to endear myself to the others, and in doing so, it distances me from my own. I don't know what he wants. What is he trying to achieve if... I thought this is what he wanted.
I don't think even Sabine knows, and knows him. She's known him longer than any of us, certainly. And
yeah.
I mean, she's been quite vocally in your corner.
Yeah. Well.
But I mean, if you're uncertain, you should call her. I mean, clearly she shares your views about the fact that your clan needs to modernize and adapt, and I mean, I don't know whether or not we can say the same about your sire.
Well, I mean, I thought he picked me because of that, but
Maybe he's just having a tantrum.
Maybe he is, but regardless, I will speak to Sabine. I won't do it tonight. I want to sort out the current issue first. Obviously, that won't happen straight away. But I have an inkling of... I mean, maybe it'll be fixed tomorrow, worst case scenario. I mean, it might be, but stuff can go wrong. And anyway, what I wanted to say is... Tomorrow night, I need you to set an alarm. I need you to be awake. I need you to not be here when I wake up. I don't know what might happen. It could go badly, and I don't want you to be there if it does.
If it goes badly, you're going to need to feed again.
Yeah, but you won't want that, and I won't want that in that situation.
It doesn't matter what I want. If you need to feed, you need to feed.
Yeah, I do. But if feeding hurts you, that's not an option. It's not an option.
And it doesn't have to be me. I can
that's
bring
fine.
someone else.
That's fine. But if the worst happens, I don't want anyone in this room until the night begins. If it all sounds clear, that's fine. That's fine. Then we will deal with the situation. And I'll let the others know as well, because they probably should. In any case, I just want to take precautions. Okay, you understand that, right?
I do. I mean, I'll do what you want me to do, but you might need to speak to them.
I will. I mean, this isn't going anywhere, and it's not going to get better sitting here. I'm probably going to go back down again. At least I feel a bit less... Well, I don't know if I feel any better, really, but at least I look a bit better. What is this?
So, as she nods to this and just falls silent, she kind of shrinks in on herself, almost as though she's regretful, feeling bad. It's normally hard to tell with Will. She tends to mask it quite well. Not so much that she doesn't show emotion, more the fact that she seems quite ambivalent in at least how she displays them. You've gotten quite familiar with Will. You tend to note, and she's certainly almost regretting speaking. But she doesn't say anything, and she stays with you. As you, Ben, take off. Are you driving?
Yeah, I would think I'll drive if that's the most efficient way.
You head outside, head towards your car. It's not parked too far away from the bed and breakfast. I need a Wits Plus awareness check from you, please.
Ooh!
Darren returns.
Wits.
Yeah. And awareness.
I will double check and see if this is the only attribute that pairs up with awareness.
I think Resolve does.
True, but I think that's if you're just watching long term.
Okay, that's fine. I will do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 successes.
Okay.
I mean, that's about as good as I could get, really.
At this point, I'm not really that surprised.
Hey!
Good roll.
As you move over towards your car and you begin fiddling with your keys, you stop as you glance over towards where the side mirror is, and you see a flash of movement, and you stop and you glance around, and for a brief moment, if your heart was beating, it would probably skip a beat at this point where you think, Darren.
Yeah.
And you stop and you look, but there's no one there. And then you stop and you turn and you look towards the wind mirror, and you can see across the street where there's a number of people, almost a figure that stops and looks. A kind of dark figure that you can't quite make out, and as you stop and look around, he's not.
I'm out of there! I'm gone. There's no
Immediately, you pull open your door, jump inside, and just start moving off. And you glance over in your rearview mirror as you go off, and in the parting of the crowd of people that's moving across the street, you can just see a solitary individual that's just watching you leave. And then you turn the corner.
I'm out of there.
It doesn't take you too long to get back to Edmonds. Even where it is, you know this route, and it's almost as though this being your safe place.
Yes.
There's an urgency with which you drive there, and when you get there and you go up inside, it's largely empty. Although Edmund is just sat there, looking at the piece that you are almost finished with, and he's just staring at it.
Okay.
And there is a cup in hand that he has, but it's empty. But he's still just...
Oh, Edmund, it's such a relief to see your face.
Benjamin! Sit.
Oh, yes. I'll sit down. So much has happened, I barely know where to begin. But I should probably start at the beginning, even though I want to start at the end, but I'm going to start at the beginning. I was attacked in the streets by these people with crowbars, and it was awful. But you know, I was out of my mind with worry, and then you were there. I remembered what you said about how to be safe, and I did what you told me to do, and then everything was fine. It was like they couldn't see me, and everything was, and I felt safe, and it was fine, and I felt really calm, and then really bad things happened to someone else. But that's not important in the story. It's just that I wanted to say that even when things were bad, you helped me, like you said, like you promised, and I felt so much better. And thank you. And
he clicks, and then out of one of the alcoves leading off, you just see someone that walks in, immediately fills his goblet back up with a liquid, and then just quickly moves away, even as he's gesturing for them to be gone without giving them any notice. And now that you've mentioned all this, his attention is no longer on the painting but firmly on you, and he turns and just faces you, and he grasps your hands between his own with the goblet in between them, and you can smell rather than anything else that this is fresh. So were you injured?
No, because of what you said. They didn't lay a finger on me.
And they couldn't see you?
No.
So, this other individual that got hurt, kindred?
Yes, one of my coterie.
And what happened?
They were awful. They kept hitting her with a crowbar and a knife, maybe. But she's all right now. She's.
No. What happened with her? How did she react?
She tried to. She fought against them, and then I think she collapsed. And when they thought they'd killed her, they ran away.
And afterwards, how is she now?
Now she seems. She's not very happy, but she's fine.
Inconsequential. That's not what I'm asking. How is she physically? What's her state?
She's very distracting because there's a sort of flappy bit of skin that I can't stop looking at. Because I'm very hungry. You see, when I did that thing, when I did that thing you told me to, it was perfect. But I suddenly realised I was extremely hungry, very, very hungry. This glass is very tempting.
And immediately he pulls it away. I'm willing to feed you.
Oh, good.
If you finish your piece.
Of course. If I could just have a
piece first.
Right. Of course, Edmund, if that's what you want. Yes, I'll start painting right away.
Do you know how torturous it is to see a piece of art this magnificent sitting here unfinished?
Oh, I can't bear the thought of you tortured him. Of course, I'll do it right now. I'll start right. I'll be looking at the glass.
And he sips.
I'll be.
Do you know how torturous it is to paint while on Hunger 3?
We said we wouldn't make this an R-rated scene.
Oh my god.
And he begins sipping.
Fine, I'll start painting right now. Here I go. And I'll get the brush and try not to think about the...
It's more distracting because not only does he follow you over to where all the art supplies are already made up for you, he's hovering over the shoulder just watching as you do in a very familiar way that he's done before. But the close proximity to blood when you can smell it, certainly now that your breathing is reflexive, you can... It's distracting. It is very distracting. And for that reason, when you make your roll, since extended difficulties are not against a set difficulty, you will take a 2-die penalty.
Okay.
I mean,
Because
you've got
it
dice
is
pool of, like, 9,
statistically the equivalent of raising by 1 point, I believe.
That's fine.
Let me just find where you are.
I'm all about the hunger dice.
Are you?
So...
I'll remember that.
Yeah, well, you roll lucky.
Yeah, 3, right?
Well, I don't know, yeah,
Actually,
well...
no, take some of my bad luck.
Yeah, thanks.
There's not a lot left, so this will probably represent about half an hour's worth of work.
Okay, so do you want me to roll for it now? Oh, man. I'm concerned about this roll. 3 successes!
That's amazing!
Whoa.
3 9s.
Okay. So,
Is it finished? Is it a masterpiece?
He did get 2 critical wins throughout.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was pushing for something amazing.
Okay.
3 nines. See, I hit that because that means now I'm gonna botch everything.
Whoa.
You and me always botch everything. That's
Oh, yeah.
that's how it goes.
Especially if you
Look, the thing is, if you were all lucky, it wouldn't make me look as good when I'm lucky. So we have to have a sort of balanced spectrum.
You get
here.
your luck when you finish a painting.
There isn't a lot left for you to do, and to be honest, if you're not the artist or you're not someone that's familiar with art, it's very hard to piece the bits that are missing. It looks for all the world to be a complete piece, but there's bits that obviously someone of Edmund's experience would note.
Yeah.
And someone of Edmund's obsession would note obsessively.
Yeah.
So as you come and you begin doing these touches, he just watches, and he gets in closer and closer as he watches, almost to the point where his mouth is almost close to your ear, and it's extremely distracting, not only because of the smell of the blood, but just because he's there. And you're well aware that every stroke you're making, he is watching.
Yeah.
And then as you go through each of the other ones, you begin rounding off the border, and you almost get to the point where you finish, and you can almost hear him waiting for something. And it's at that point when the recent memories tie in, and without really realizing it, you are adding a figure in amongst the individuals. And then as you stop and realize what you're doing, you pull it away, you turn to look at Edmund, and he's just staring. And absently, he just thrusts the mug at you. And then
splats all over the
and as he almost seems to gently, but not quite so gently, move you out of the way so he can observe it. And he just stares. And his focal point seems to be on this individual that's in amongst. And as you step away and begin draining the goblet, it's not enough quite yet to fill you at a point, but it's enough to whet the appetite. And as it goes down, you can feel the warmth that's still there from wherever this came from. It is enough for you. Actually, that's a point. I'll have to have a look for them later on. But for you, Benjamin, you will take the... there they are. Sanguine.
Oh.
Resonance.
I haven't got my pencil. My youth.
And...
Right, thank you.
I usurped your
For you, Katia, phlegmatic.
What was it?
Phlegmatic.
Okay.
These are the resonances you currently have. For you, Katia, it's intense. So when you do discipline checks with the disciplines that it is associated with, you get a +1 bonus.
Excellent.
Yours is just normal resonance, and so is yours, which will
Mine
go.
melancholic.
I believe. Have you fed since then?
No.
Nope. So it's still there. Still there until you reach hunger 5, or until you feed again. Okay.
Yeah, but mine was like melancholic.
It's just base, but it's worth keeping a note because you need it if you ever try and develop disciplines of a similar resonance.
Okay.
You can't develop a discipline unless you have either a little or substantial amount of the same resonance, and you only get that resonance by feeding from people like that. You can try and forcibly change someone's resonance, depending on how severely you do this dictates the severity of the resonance change. But it's worth keeping a note, and it's worth noting when it's intense or the even more extreme version, which is, I can't remember the name. Disgracia.
Disgracia, I assume, it's from Greek.
Which means that it is severe, but it gives you unique benefits. But you need to, really hammer that emotional state into someone to the point of abuse, torture, long-standing emotional manipulation to try and get that happening. But anyway, so you have those. And as you're feeding and eventually it runs dry, almost too quickly it runs dry, and you're licking without really realising it, the edge, the rim, to get away at these drops. And as you kind of glance over your shoulder, Edmund's no longer staring at the piece, but he's staring at you. I'm going to show this piece.
Oh, wonderful. I don't suppose you have any more.
I do.
I'm very hungry. I can really feel it in my stomach in a way that I don't. Oh, thank Thank you.
She comes over. And this time, he takes the entirety of the jug that she brings, and he just hands it to you. No need for the goblet. And he takes the goblet away from you and almost very gingerly just places it back in her hands. The jug that it's in is very warm.
I think I'm probably just going to glug for a little bit until I get sated enough to realise this is a hugely embarrassing situation, and then I'll try and get it back later. But for now, I'm just going to chug.
It takes pretty much the entirety of the jug, but you will recover 1 hunger. As it goes down, it's extremely warm. It's the same resonance of what you've just had, the same kind of sensation that goes through your body, an almost kind of amorous feeling that spreads as you kind of drink it, but then all of a sudden it's gone, and you feel not quite so gripped with that pain and that fixation as you did. And then with startling clarity, you remember that you are suddenly stood in this, not at the moment public place, but normally a public place where you come to review your art, and you have just drank a lot of blood. And he's just watching you.
Oh, I just didn't even think. I was just, it was so warm, and I was so hungry, and
It's taken from source.
I can tell. It's wonderful.
And you know what is even more wonderful?
Please, what is?
This marvelous piece, this perfect piece.
He's pleased.
This perfect piece. You will fulfill your thing, by the way. Your desire. This perfect piece is going to take center place at my next exhibit. I had promised the place to another, but you've drank him. Oh, don't worry. I didn't intend on having that boar in my exhibit anyway, but now...
His art is more valuable.
But there's something. Why this piece? And it's the same question he always asks. But there's every time he asks you, there's an urgency there, almost like someone that's demanding an answer that you thus far have just not given him. You've partially satisfied his curiosity, but every time he wants something that you're uncertain why. And he's just, his rapture at this piece, very minute degrees, is just rounding off into almost a kind of frustration. And it's subtle, but you can see it. And the woman over on the edge that's taken the glass immediately turns and just walks off.
Well, I remember the last time that I spoke to you before I started on this, that you were unhappy. Well, no, not unhappy. You were worried that I was unhappy. And it made me think about that I'd maybe been distracted, and I thought with this piece I had to really push forward, to take everything that step further. It was risky, you know. I was trying things that I wouldn't normally find easy, but I thought you have to take that risk for the art to be alive on the canvas, you see, and that's what I was doing, and I suppose to a sense it's sort of something of everything that's happened has appeared on the canvas, which is why this is so, I suppose, appropriate, but also shocking. I'll point at the figure, because I saw them before I came here. They were the last thing I saw. They were watching. They're here again, Edmund. They're here, and I had to come to you because they were there. They were watching me, and now they're here on the canvas as well.
I know what you should do for your next piece.
You do?
This friend of yours, this kindred, what's her name?
Katia.
Katia.
Yes.
We can name it something else. However,
of course.
I want you to paint her as you witnessed her when you fled. I want to see that scene that you told me about. I want to see it all. I want to see the blood. I want to see the anguish. I want to see the hunger. I want to see it all. And I want you to show me, and I want you to show everyone. It's going to be excellent.
Well, it is very stuck in my mind, I must admit.
Then paint it.
All right. I will. That's what my next piece will be. I will start work on it. Of course. For you, anything, Edmund.
And you will. This will take pride of place. I mean, this piece is already. But
I am very pleased with it, I must admit.
And even more to the point, I plan on showing this piece to Edward Colbert. Oh, you will marvel.
Yes. Oh, that's yes.
Just don't disappoint with it, because I plan on making him excited and telling him. I mean, he doesn't like art as much as us, but he will marvel at these pieces, and I plan on telling him at the earliest opportunity. So.
Of course, I will. Well, I'll get my thoughts together and then I'll start work. Of course. I won't disappoint you, Edmund. I promise. It'll be perfect.
You said you'd disappoint me. You never disappoint me.
No, never. I wouldn't dream of it.
Excellent.
Thank you so much for this. I do feel a bit more myself now. It's always easier when I've seen you, you know. Can I come back again soon?
Yes.
Oh, good.
Of course.
Yes, good. Thank you. I should probably get back and maybe have another look before, you know, while it's still there, so I can get it in mind.
Be sure to capture the true anguish. There's nothing quite like it.
Oh yes, no, that I don't think that will be a problem.
He will know, you know, if it's feigned.
No, it has to be honest. That's what always these things have to. It has to be truth or nothing
why
else.
I like you, because it's always honest.
Yes, absolutely. Well, I suppose I should. I'm so glad you like this piece, Edmund. I really am. But I should probably get back.
Yeah, just leave that on the floor. Someone will clean it.
Oh, right. Goodbye then.
I think I know this one. And he just starts muttering to himself as he looks at it. It's not kind of incoherent babble. It's almost like he's having a discussion with you, even though you've walked. And then you're gone. You step back out into the car. You do a quick look around just to make sure.
I'm now activating more paranoid mode now that I've seen them.
Okay.
So yeah, I will be very much on the lookout. But yeah, I'll go back to the Haven anyway.
There you go. Your art is going to be shown to the Primogen.
No, it's not. We're going to have a scene from VT and Bloodlines.
You know.
You know the one. You know the one.
These resources dots don't generate themselves, you know, people. You got to work for it.
In joke for people who've played the game.
It's amazing. If you haven't seen it or played it.
I've started the game. Not very bad.
Okay, so as much as I kind of want to plow through everything else, we are rapidly approaching a time where we need to wrap this up. So rather than kind of cram in another scene, which deserves its more time, I am instead going to hand you over to my amazing cast, because they have a few shout-outs that they want to do, a few points they want to make. Thank you very much, guys, for sticking with us. I know it's been a pain in the ass. Trust me. Trust me. We're all aware. But, you know, got a lot of love for technical staff and everyone. They work their asses off. It's just problems arise. But thank you for bearing with us. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. I'm going to hand you over now whilst I fade into the background.
Shoutouts, quick shout out to Estilianos, Stilly T, and Kai Engel, who are providing us with all of this amazing music that we're using for the stream and all the resources that you see online. Your turn?
Are you doing it?
I don't think I'm doing one this time, except so I'll hand over.
Cool. I want to give another quick shout out to the podcast Modified Role. They're a D&D 5th edition podcast. They're also based in the UK, and they've been really supportive of us so far, so it's only fair that we return the favour to them, so you should definitely check them out. Woo! We love you guys. Give a quick shout out to a new 5th edition podcast called Dugongs and Sea Dragons. I only came across this morning, but I love the concept so much. It's made by, I think it's 3 or 4 marine scientists. It's combining marine biology, natural history, and Dungeons and Dragons, which is 3 of my favourite things in the whole world, so you should definitely check that out.
I will have to.
Yeah, you any shouts?
Yeah. Any shout that I have is for our producer Mitch, who's lent me this this dice for round checks tonight. I haven't used it tonight, so if
There's
I
always
will,
next time.
I will intend to see if he's available for me to use it next week.
Browsing like 5 times next week.
Yeah. So see if we can use that as my specialist round dice.
Okay.
Oh yeah, quick one. We already had that broadcasted over the chat during the downtime periods. Please leave a comment or a message with a place where you are watching us from. I'm creating a list, so I'll be sure to give you a shout out next week with all the places and all the areas where you are watching Blood on the Thames.
Okay, last thing for now. Are we gone? Yep. We are doing another giveaway this week. Just to say thank you so much for everyone sticking with us. And we are... Oh, do you want to hold up? Cool. Giving away this handmade dice necklace. It features a Game Science kind of a crystal style ruby red D16 attached to a faux suede cord. I think it's about 15.5 inches, and the findings are silver plated, so it's hopefully fairly good to the skin. And yeah, if you want to have a chance to win this one, just hit us with a message on either Facebook or Twitter or Tumblr. Those are all the ones we monitor. And quote us. Let's say the word diablerie this week. Because I love that word. And
For some reason.
You might have to spell that one
for
as well.
clarification, it is spelled, let's see, D-I-A-B-L-E-R-I-E.
Yes.
Yay! Got it in one. Cool.
Does it count if it's written in Spanish? I'll reproof that.
Cool. Well, we've got you for that. Nice. And like, totally go for the giveaway. Doesn't matter where you're based. I can post wherever, basically, unless you're in Antarctica or something. But hey, that's a challenge. Anyway, yeah, I think that's all from me.
I think it is relationship map time. Okay.
So yeah,
crikey.
I guess just real quick. Not much has changed this week.
Watch out. Sorry.
Nice.
Okay. Time to stand up, guys.
Oh, no.
All right. So,
I'm going up. I'm still going up.
so there's not a huge number of new things, but very, very observant people will notice that Plucky Jake has reappeared in the relationship map. He is the Nosferatu Primogen, and he has a little Nosferatu symbol. So all of the Primogen, as they appear, will have clan symbols, so they're easier to identify on the map.
Or in this case, Deacon Rhodes, who is identified with the Anarch symbol.
Other ones we have are the crossed hands, our little Haven, and Julia Morovsky with a little lovely little flower
And
there.
our new best friend, Darren Fitcher, who I preemptively drew a little skull on his picture, and
I
it feels more
thought,
apt than
yeah.
ever.
Yeah, it's
now.
coming.
Jim kind of wants to break that skull, but he's holding off.
It's
I
cool.
thought you should have started with a crowbar from the beginning. It's like broad crowbar.
I'm playing the long game here. I'll wait till I've got Blood Magic 5. That'll be fun.
But yes, it is worth pointing out that as well as people, significant places can also appear on the map, which is why the crossed hands is there, as it's our coterie haven.
And see, you met Will again. Wait.
Secret message.
Oh.
Ah,
That needs to be pinned.
so secret it drops
So
behind
secret,
Katia at a moment's
yeah.
notice.
There we go.
So I will have one. I'll have one to relate from my character this time. So your character has been revealed that these guys have never heard of before
it's true.
either.
Yeah.
Also, the only reason on a proper relationship map we would be connecting strings to all these guys as well as just people who relate to us and trust us. We did do that. But when you're using actual string, we kind of got a bit ambitious. We wanted something to look really cool, and with strings connecting everything, it was actually kind of madness and stuff kept falling off. So for now, we're just going to put opinions around the thing when it's relevant, maybe write in coloured pen.
I think we probably need an entire wall to the full size
Yeah,
one.
we sort of hit the wire a little too quickly, so we're gonna build up to the wire. It will
Hit the
happen.
string.
As we go.
We're building our way up to a relationship wall,
Yeah.
but we need funding for that. So
Yeah.
let us pull our resources together.
Yeah, we're doing the best with what we got, guys.
But I think that's done on that, isn't it now?
Yeah, I think that's everything.
That's
Good.
beautiful.
Nice. I'm just going to disappear.
Oh, there we go.
We're gonna do a bit of.
And
What else are we gonna start?
the rule.
Are we going to go through rules tonight, or do we want to... what's the plan?
I think it's too late for rules.
Well, I think
Yeah, let's pause there.
I just want to again say thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's been amazing.
Thank you so much for sticking with us for all this time.
Thanks
I
for the
did that.
patience.
Thank you.
Am I over here? Yeah. Hi, guys. Again. I want to do my own shout-out, whilst I want to do a large shout-out to everybody that's currently following the stream or paying any interest or just trying to find the time to watch it now or watch it later. Thank you very much for sticking with us, especially today through our technical hiccups. We will get better, we promise, both with knowing the system inside out, particularly when the books arrive, and with all the when we get used to all the technical aspects and everything involved. Again, a shout out to everybody that's working behind the scenes on this, because they are, the unsung heroes, and they do put up with a lot of the glitches. As annoying as it is for you, you can guarantee it's just as annoying for them. If it's not, it will be. I also want to do a shout out to Cast Iron Gent, a close friend of mine, Matt, who is currently working on trying to bring us hunger tokens. To represent physically the actual tokens that how hungry they are, is working on really cool logos and stuff for us, and miniatures. He is working his way through those, so hopefully once they're all finished, it'll just give a bit more of a visual aspect to things. I believe that's it. Thank you very much, guys, for bearing with us. Everybody that's stuck with us, I know, some people 4 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, you all rock. And thank you very much, guys. And we will see you next week, next Monday for... We are on next Monday as normal? Yep. Next Monday for Chapter 2. And this will be the actual Chapter 2 because we've been checking that it records this time. We just... thank you very much, guys. And we will see you next Monday. Thank you. Bye-bye.